We're gonna blast off 60 minutes CCOT censorship creates major Barry Weiss drama. TPUSA right-wing infighting weekend. TPUSA right-wing infighting weekend. Epstein release redactions turn into crimes. Venezuelan oil theft and war. DNC autopsy won't be released. Hogwatch and more. Get in now. Get in now. It's Monday, motherfucking Newsday. You already know what it is. People are turning back to woke. People are turning woke again, let's say. Okay. Woke is back. Woke is back. Woke is back, baby. Yeah, oh, fuck. Before I forget, Nicki Minaj, obviously. Barry Weiss drama. Nicki Minaj is MAGA. Okay, do we have a blast off meme? What is this? Alt. Mortal Kombat. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I will give you my initial takeaway from Turning Point USA weekend. Utter defeat for Ben Shapiro. Absolute victory for anti-Semitism in general. Like incredible victory for anti-Semites all around. It's pretty much over. It's never been more over than it is. I think I think it's time to welcome Jews to, Muslim status. Welcome. You're probably not going to appreciate it, let's be real, but you will see what it's like. It's not great. I will admit, the non-white status for Jews is coming for sure. Adam Friedland was right. Like, it's not the worst thing overall. It's not great. I won't lie to you. That's not true, Hassan. I mean, I think it's coming. I think I think white card for Jews is slated to be revoked. I think Adam Friedland was pretty on the ball when he was like worried about it. And I thought to myself, like, I think he's being so crazy. I think he's being crazy. That's never going to happen. And it's like, who knows? Can't wait for someone to look like a moron, call my pasty ass not white. Look at me. I know. Have you met an Albanian man before? Have you met a Turkish man before? I know. That's how it goes. Anyway, bro, Chatter needs to realize 1.5K years of anti-Semitism. Exactly. I hate that I'm hearing it from you after seeing that shit from my own eyes. I hope the anti-Semitism wasn't as bad as people. Wasn't as bad for some people. No, I mean, it's not completely there yet, but I think as like a socio-political construct, the whiteness is potentially shrinking a little bit, And like, if you're the guy in charge of these decisions, and it's usually the right wingers that are in charge of these decisions, right? Like, they think about this and they're like, well, that's a small group of people to cut off. You know what I mean? Like, white supremacists, or just like people who define what whiteness is, go off of vibes for the most part, but like, it's an ever expanding concept, right? And you could shrink it at times. And who are you going to shrink it on? Well, Jewish people are not that large of a percentage of the white population, right? It's like what, 6 million, 7 million, give or take, in the United States of America. That's not going to put a major dent. Like if they were to decide Irish are not white. It's much more complicated to take the Irish out of the whiteness equation, or the Italians out of the whiteness equation, or, the Polish out of the whiteness equation. You are wrong. It will never shrink after expanding. Who knows? I don't know. Whiteness is more easily identified by the out group than those within it. It's easier to notice it when you're not invited. When we're not invited, yeah. Remember when the Dems talked about dropping trans rights as an agenda item, even though they were barely even pro-trans to begin with? The rights convo feels a lot like that. Yeah, the reason why I'm talking about this, for the record, is because it's kind of the hottest topic on the right currently. obviously they're not having this discourse or this debate on those exact same boundaries. Like, they're not literally going, are Jews white? Should we just consider them white, or should we also consider them the marginalized group to fucking dunk on, and you know, go fully into this like Nazi stuff, right? That's not how they're having this discourse. I'm giving you a more streamlined approach here. I'm explaining exactly what the dynamic looks like. You know? And it is the major topic, because Ben Shapiro was the first speaker at Turning Point USA this past weekend. Amerifest took place. First Turning Point USA conference after Charlie Kirk got assassinated, right? And there was a shit ton of drama coming into it. There was a shit ton of drama leading into it. And basically, Ben came out, was the first major speaker after Erica Kirk. And right after Ben came out and, you know, daggered conspiracy theories and like, you know, people being anti-Semitic and stuff, every single major speaker that came after Ben Shapiro, including Tucker Carlson, who spoke immediately after Ben Shapiro, they all attacked Ben. Every single one. Every single one literally was like, shut your bitch ass up. What is this cancel culture nonsense? Of course, we're going to have a big tent. And that tent is going to have some opinions you don't agree with. They basically made Ben look like a woke lord. Okay. And in some ways, Ben is a woke lord, because Ben, I think, forgot that if you're not like fully a white Christian man in the United States of America, you are still, in some instances, a token. Okay. And tokens always get spent. And it's ironic because Ben should have known that, because he has hired many tokens. Candace Owens being one of them, right? And if you are going to play that role, you have to play ball. If you're going to play that role, you have to play ball. But he was so confident in his permanent status as a force of whiteness that he thought that this hatred that he was fomenting would not inevitably go back and decide that his group, his social group, his in group would not be identified as an op, right? This may sound like a weird take, but if Jews do lose white status, then it's like open season on black and brown people. Things already aren't great for us, bro. We're all going to get extra demoted. I think a little bit, yes. My point is, when I say like Jews are about to lose white status, I don't mean that they're going to automatically turn into, you know, the way that like white supremacy looks at black and brown people. They're going to be like Muslims, you know? Like, there's varying degrees of oppression here. But my point is, my point is, and it's not here yet, right? Like, it hasn't fully gotten here yet, but it's very obvious that the Republicans are making this calculation right now. And I think ultimately it'll be conservative Jews who play that role of being a token that will remain in the coalition, and those who actually think that people have to be woke about anti-Semitism will get cast aside. And Ben Shapiro clearly has made the wrong calculation. But it's interesting for Ben Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro has hired Candace Owens and other black people in the past for the Daily Wire to literally play that role. Black people that, you know, foment anti-black conspiracy theories, racialized hatred towards black people. So you have to do that yourself, Ben. You have to be the Jewish guy who says, yeah, our people are a little sneaky, you know. That's what you got to do. Otherwise, they're going to cut you as well. That's how it works. And you know that's how it works because you've literally participated in this process when you hired other people who were non-white to do white supremacist propaganda. So it's really interesting watching this dynamic play out. I've been thinking about this quite a bit, right? On the one hand, he made this bed, and on the other hand, he does not want to lay in the bed, right? So, but one thing is clear. The right, even Turning Point USA, which this was Charlie's greatest fear, right? Charlie's greatest fear always was, oh, the base is going to demand way more anti-Semitism, and maybe even, you know, cutting ties off with Israel or whatever. How do we fix that? How do we figure that out? And Ben thought he could, you know, bring people back to where things were in like 2003. America's a Judeo-Christian nation founded on Judeo-Christian values. Like he thought he could get away with that. Turns out for the real ones, they've moved past it. Okay. They're like, you're not on the team, little bro. And that was clear from Tucker Carlson to Megyn Kelly to Steve Bannon to even JD Vance, who tried to play this like middle ground role as the final speaker, as the major speaker at this event. Basically, everyone said, no, we're going to talk to Nick Fuentes. We're going to talk to anti-Semites. You can't tell us we can't do that. Shut the fuck up. So that's where we're at. And you will see more and more people, I think, on the right who want to stay on, who want to basically continue presenting this like weird, you have to be anti-woke for everyone but the Jews ass narratives, and they will just keep getting pushed aside because the market clearly doesn't want that. The market demands more. Jewish people pandering to the right is how I feel about TERF's TULAW. Like, you know, you're siding with the most misogynistic people that are not all on your side, right? Yeah, exactly. Check log, please. I got Turning Point T. Let's see it. Okay, Erica has been busted lying about her dating history. One ex has died. One with the lead writer of the paper Charlie was beefing with. He now works with Turning and has somewhat as the same position as his former job. Okay, you really spammed the fuck out of those logs, dude. Look at this. Logs. God damn. Yeah, we know. We know the Erica Kirk dating history is like a little crazy. But yeah, we'll obviously talk about Nicki Minaj, who performed at Turning Point USA. And by that, I mean, it was an incredible performance. Let's take a look at her latest song that's coming out.
Yo, can I get that wall? Can I get that must? Can I get those jeans? Can I get that truck? Can I get that Morgan Wallen on a loop? Can I get ice all around the USA? I was like Trump, hey, do you think you could put a red hat on a Barbie? Okay, let's get it now. I'm with the MAGAs, we in a church. I don't say hi, say we Charlie Kirk. We Charlie Kirk. Motherfucking right, I'm a motherfucking turf. If a new scum get cute, I'ma rip him. Tweet a lot of tweets at him, then yell diss him. Then yell diss him. Then make every kid detransition. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm really such a sweetie. I rap Republicans, you know Sydney Sweeney. And we be giving donuts to the police on the daily. We give a lot of money to Elon, Donald, and JD. Yelling all around the states. Do you hear me? Everybody hates the LGBT. Rest in peace to my old stances. Yes, my dear, I fear the trans kids. Say hi to Ted and Ron DeSantis. Now which one of you men gonna part of my manses?
I mean, this it's kind of fire. The dipshit MAGA rapper is mad he didn't make this. No, this is like, it goes to show that obviously, clearly, you know, the old flow and the old bars are not going to carry over into the new Nicki Minaj MAGA pivot. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Because when you look at like right-wing rappers and their output, it doesn't come near the original song that this person is obviously recreating. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be like Nicki Minaj collabing with fucking Tom McDonald. Like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? There is no way that she will make a song like this. I had to pause because I shit my pants. Let me know how far behind I am. What is this? You're in the thumbnail of this latest lefty video? Harper O'Connor. Not even close. How the left can win the media war. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll watch this. This is a fucking, I don't know if it's like pro or anti, but you know. How leftists can reclaim self-improvement. I love that. Oh, the Che Guevara method. I love that. This guy's a tool. I don't think so. Especially because one of the top videos I just saw is literally self-improvement, which is one of my favorite concepts on the left that often gets very little coverage. And he's using Che Guevara as an example of someone who literally had like anti-black views early on in his life and wrote about it, and then very clearly was not racist by the end of his life. Like he went through this transformation, and I think it's a beautiful story. That's not true. Yes, it is. What are you talking about? He did. He was Argentinian from a fucking relatively wealthy family. He absolutely says some racist ass shit, but it doesn't matter because he spent the most of his adult life after liberating Cuba fighting all around the world, specifically in Africa as well. Okay. It is a great example. It is a great example of retribution, rehabilitation. It's a story that I try to tell all the time, and it's one that I even bring up with respect to some of the chatters in here, right? Like, I've talked about Quentin Quarantino, the Instagram page, right? Like, he went from post October 7 being like somewhat resistant to call out Israel, and maybe even assuming that even someone who he had tuned into and watched for many, many years, he thought was potentially anti-Semitic, to someone who literally went on the Gaza Samud flotilla and was arrested by the Israeli state. That transformation took over 2 years, but it would not have happened if we weren't more welcoming. And I think it's an incredible thing that we see transformations like that. It comes from a place of understanding that people's initial condition should not dictate, or initial position should not dictate who they are for the rest of their lives. We have to be understanding that there is growth, that everyone has the capability of growing and improving themselves and helping others and becoming wonderful allies in this cause. And this is something that I will always push for, and it's something that I will consistently advocate for. And I think it's one of the worst aspects of, unfortunately, the way we do any sort of analysis on the left. So, in any case, does MAGA know that Nicki was an undocumented kid? I did not know that. I didn't know that either. Anyway, but yeah, so Turning Point USA conference took place, like I was saying, and one of the points that I was going to make is that there is obviously a lot of back and forth, a lot of drama that has taken place. There's a lot of drama that's taken place on Turning Point USA conference. Obviously, Nicki Minaj speaking at Turning Point USA is a big deal. And there was a moment where she actually had a little oopsie as well, where she called JD Vance an assassin. And I think Candace Owens is probably going to use that to her advantage, I suspect. But yeah, she did. She spoke. She was like one of the keynote speakers of the Turning Point USA conference. I guess President Trump also made some surprise remarks over the phone. Let's take a look.
He may not be here today, but I wanted to make sure he had a chance to say hi. Mr. President?
Hello, everybody.
Can you guys hear?
I want to be with you, but I'll be with you soon. And I just want to say that nobody.
I want to be with you. Oh, hello, everybody. That's so funny, dude. He is fucking... What is happening, bro? What is happening, bro? Is this AI? He would never call his fail son? Yeah, obviously he would never call his fail son for a normal conversation, but they probably did this specifically so that he could speak at the Turning Point USA conference. The only time he's picking up his dumbass son's phone call is when he knows he's on stage at the Turning Point USA conference so he can speak to his fucking admiring fans, you know?
Did more for me than Charlie, and there's nobody better than Erica, and you are the greatest people on earth. We won in a landslide, and we're going to continue to do it. And I just want to thank everybody you got out there. And
he's so excited because it feels like he's talking to his dad on the phone, private, awesome private shit. Like you can tell he's stoked because this is the one time he gets to talk to Pappy. Like, Daddy doesn't talk to him at all. Daddy doesn't give him the same love that he gives to Barron. He fucking hates that. Not on some parasocial shit, but like, Daddy is not answering the fucking phone ever, right? Unless he's at the Turning Point USA conference speaking in front of a crowd of Daddy's biggest fans.
They voted and they pressed doorbells. And I just want to thank you all. And I hope my son's doing a good job representing me. Otherwise, I'll have to say, you're fired, Don. You're fired.
Even then, he's got to get a dig in. What's my shit ass son doing? Oh God, what is he? He better be doing a good job. Otherwise, it's over. I know he's a bit of a failure.
So thank you very much and have a great day.
He keeps finding my phone number. I keep hiding it. I keep getting a new phone. I say, new phone, who this? I say, new phone, who dis? And he says, it's your son. I say, Baron, you sound different. He says, no, daddy. And as soon as he says, no, daddy, I can hear the coke jaw cackling on the other side of the phone. I hate it. I hate it. I keep telling JD, do not give Don Jr. my phone number, the new one. Don't do it. JD, stop giving Don Jr. the new phone number that I keep getting.
And I hope Don makes a great speech. If he doesn't make a great speech, let me know about it. I'll give him hell.
Well, Dad, there's literally...
Everybody, Don, go have a good time and say hello to Erica. Go have a good time, everybody.
Well, there's 30,000 young patriots in this room.
Dad, we've seen that room, bro. That is not young, okay? Let's be real. Let's be fucking real.
The movement continues. They're looking forward to supporting you and everything that you, Charlie, and really everyone that's part of this movement stands for. So thanks, Dad. We appreciate it. We love you. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, everybody. We love you. Have a great Christmas.
Thanks, Dad. We love you.
So, yeah. Nicki Minaj, ladies and gentlemen. Nicki Minaj. The Nicki Minaj. I think I have a tie-in to this with Dave Chappelle because, like, I've never been like a barb or anything. I've never been like a massive Nicki Minaj fan at any point in my life, but I was a massive Dave Chappelle fan in my at some point in my life, and I do think that like there is somewhat of a comparison here that we can make. Obviously, Dave Chappelle nowhere near as bad as Nicki Minaj. That's not my point at all. I'm not making that comparison, but like from my perspective, I understand when your goat is washed. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I know what it's like when your fucking goat is washed, okay? When you're like, why? What are you doing? Right? And I know people have gone through this. People have gone through this with other incredibly talented people. Do not say that about LeBron. How fucking dare you, okay? No, LeBron is not washed. Shut up. Why? Why would you bring up LeBron right now? Okay, the white supremacy is off the fucking charts. You might as well still be a Nicki Minaj stan and be MAGA the entire way. If you're just going to randomly bring up LeBron James when we're having a goat wash conversation, he is not washed. Shut up. Okay? Shut up. Listen, washed and bald, take the L. Stop. Stop with your racism. Stop with your racism. Time out. Stop the hate. Time out. Time out. Stop the hate. Stop the hate. Stop the racism. Time out. Okay? Time out on hate. Anyway. Grandpa out here enraged by the facts. Stop it. Anyway. I'm washed. Say I'm washed. I am washed. You can say I'm washed every day. Do not say LeBron is washed. Okay. So what I was saying is I understand when, you know, someone who has been very impactful in your life, in your development, someone you like admire, someone whose music, you know, played a big role in you coming to terms with things in reality, you know, got you through hard times or whatever. Like I don't personally understand it. Like I don't have a direct musical equivalent, but I get how people operate, right? But I think it's time to just give up, you know? It's like the Gucci bag meme. It's just a give up. It's over, you know? Stop trying to tie knots on there. Noam Chomsky, another great example of this. You know, sometimes you realize that if your goats or if people that are influential in your life have lived long lives and had storied careers, at a certain point in that time frame, they're just going to turn not so great. Okay? Noam Chomsky is another example of this. Obviously, Radiohead, that's another good example of this too. It's just how it is. It is how it is. Nicki has been cringe for over a decade. I don't understand how people are taking this hard. I think she's never placed a flag on one side this hard. I think that's what it is. That's basically like she's never fully leaned into it. So I think a lot of people who aren't like tapped in to all of like the other stuff that Nicki Minaj has done, who just like simply listen to the music or whatever, have never seen her go this hard. Okay, because this is going beyond like tweeting about how Nigerian Christians are under attack and like how Donald Trump is gonna save the Nigerian Christians. Like, she's not even tweeting this shit anymore. She's just like straight up saying, I, Nicki Minaj, am MAGA. I love MAGA. I love Donald Trump. I'm going on the Turning Point USA conference. Like, I'm doing the damn thing, right? I'm glad you're talking about this because the left has suffered with some savior syndrome over the past decade, and we need to come to terms with politicians just being tools for our collective liberation and not perfect angels. Yes. And yeah, big Kyrie news, I know. Yeah, I know. And see, some people are cutting that. You know what I mean? Some people are going, nah, that's too much, right? that's a bit much. So I haven't been following Nicki. She's just obsessed over trans politics, and that was her radicalization point. No, I think hers is more, I think hers is just more open-minded, transparent grift. I don't think there was like an individual point of radicalization. I think she's always been like kind of kooky on some issues, but yeah, Zoomers don't remember. Nicki used to be a feminist and LGBTQ plus icon. Girl was calling out sexism back in 2010. And I think like, yeah, she's, you know, she has two different pedophile, like sex offenders in her orbit, her husband and her brother, I believe. And I think that's probably the reason why. Maybe she got like a little bit radicalized during COVID, but like that is mostly what's motivating this, right? I think that's the major reason as to why she's doing this stuff. Anyway, so like I don't think the Christian, she got the Christian brain rot. Like I don't think the Christian brain rot is real. I don't think it's genuine. I think it's more so just like she's leaning into the pro-Trump grift, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because like obviously I have this on the docket here, but like I've called out Nicki Minaj before during COVID, and I noticed this like right-wing pivot coming from a mile away, and the Barbs fucking destroyed me for it. And that was like 4 years ago. Okay. But I also am very understanding that like people just don't want to let go. People don't want to give up on this. And I think this is basically the last, this is the last line of defense. Like there's no more plausible deniability about her politics or anything like that. And you're just totally delusional if you're still leaning into it, right? So Nicki Minaj goes on Turning Point USA conference after like spending the last couple of months glazing the Trump administration. And there is still like amongst the Barbs, there's still a lot of like, is she actually fully leaning in? What is she doing? Maybe there's an alternative reason for this. Maybe she's like, going up against, what's the other, big record label that she's like fighting or whatever, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, oh, that's probably the reason she needs like powerful allies because she's going against like Rock Nation, all this stuff, right? Like, I don't think it's like that. Okay.
So those of you who know, Charlie was very good about having a surprise for...
She has no case against Rock Nation, bro. Brother, I'm not saying she has a case against Rock Nation. I'm saying that is what her fans were coping with. Okay? How do you know all this? It's so impressive, Law. It's my job to know. Every time, look, we are opening the door a little bit and peering into at least like rap culture. Wouldn't say black culture, but like rap culture a little bit, okay? And as a primarily Caucasian audience, I'm trying to guide you through this journey in the most open-minded way possible. But the reality of the matter is, yes, Rock Nation is like, is anytime something happens, people will go, oh, Rock Nation got this person, right? There's a couple different tropes or a couple different like conspiracies. One of the famous ones, one of the classic ones is if there's like a pivotal black figure, like iconic figure that is busted for doing some fuck shit. Sometimes old heads will say, oh, that person was on the verge of like buying an NFL team or something, and that's the reason why they destroyed him, or he was on the verge of like purchasing a TV channel or something. Like they just don't want they just don't want black people to be in positions of prominence, and there is some truth to that, obviously, or there is definitely some truth to like the hyper scrutiny that famous black people receive as opposed to famous white people in similar circumstances. So there is like a little bit of truth to that, but it's usually just like a conspiracy theory. And then the other conspiracy theory always is Rock Nation. So and you know, Rock Nation is like the powerful entity behind all of these things, and all of these other people that are like constantly battling against this big powerful corporation, Illuminati, that sort of stuff, right? Anyway, so in any case, I think with Nicki Minaj is much more simple than all these conspiracies. I think she's just pivoting. I think she's pivoting in a way where she wants allies, and she wants the right-wing movement to back her. I think it's partially because she's a little bit older and a little bit more washed now, that she's slower on the trends. Like she's almost become a mega corporation herself, right? In all of her career. For those of you who don't know, obviously Nicki Minaj was like almost like a standalone, almost like a standalone figurehead for black women in this space that was predominantly occupied by men for a very long time. Okay. So she was seen as like a champion for women and for the queers, and that's why her audience is very her audience has always been very gay, very queer, and obviously that dynamic shifted a lot, and then there's, you know, a lot of friction with other younger artists that came after her, and the way she dealt with it wasn't great. Okay, all this stuff. Anyway. Yeah, from Cardi B to Megan Thee Stallion and numerous others. So, but that's all, you know, we're talking about almost 2 decades of a media titan's career, right? All of that is now basically in the rear view mirror. And I think nowadays she's trying to rest on the laurels of her former success while simultaneously move into different directions. Right. And part of that is this right-wing grift, it seems. The sincere attitude change from, I think, Nicki Minaj's, like initially that came from, I think maybe COVID. Check on him, bruh. No, I did. I DM'd, I texted him this. I saw this. Rage, do you think Nicki and Erica Kirk IRL collab winning best stream collab of 2026? Like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Rage is a little bit of a barb. Lil Nas X was a barb, or probably, I don't know if he still is, but like, you know, a lot of these people, doesn't Rage hate you too? No, what the fuck? We just did a podcast together. No, of course he doesn't hate me. Anyway, so there are a lot of people who grew up with Nicki Minaj. There are a lot of people in here that were probably barbs at some point. And I assume that, you know, given how tapped in one might be to politics, they probably pulled the ripcord out way longer than many are currently, right? The timing of this right-wing pivot unironically is the worst for Nicki Minaj, because like woke is coming back. Rage is not a little bit of a Barb Lamau. He got on his knees when he met Nicki on Kai Stream. I know. It's impossible to ignore her contributions to culture, but she has gone off the deep end. Exactly. But she has been off the deep end for quite a while, but now she's like fucking fully dove into the deep end and is saying, this is where I'm at. So this becomes unavoidable for a lot of people. Even if you are constantly doing the Kanye West style, like he made graduation for Nicki Minaj. Like this is one step before you know, for many of the fans, the moment that you do stuff like this, it becomes unavoidable. You have staked your claim, battle lines are drawn, you have decided this is who you are, and this is the movement that you are going to be a part of, right? Has this made Ben Shapiro cave on his WAP position? Nobody cares about Ben Shapiro's position on anything, little bro, because Ben Shapiro is washed, okay? He is the most washed. The right would literally crucify Ben if it meant more Nicki Minaj time, okay? Are you kidding me? Ben is gone. It's over. In any case, let's take a look at what some of this conversation looked like.
Every AmFest And we are so blessed to have you. We are so grateful. I mean...
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I am honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
That's so...
Love you guys. So we're just gonna dive right into this. You had...
Cultural driving forces are never going to be on the right, no matter how hard they try. I'm sorry, okay? People who formerly might have actually contributed to culture in meaningful ways, once they're losing all the glory, might actually pivot to the right. But it's very obvious that for the most part, a lot of the art and a lot of the culture is still moving because there are a lot of woke people from progressive backgrounds that are, the people who are at the beginnings of their careers, the people who are working hard, moving and shaking culture right now, people with actual motion, they're not gonna do that. Okay. And we're talking about the arts. We're not talking about podcasting. You can dominate the podcasting sphere. You can dominate the media sphere with right-wing sentiment all day, every day. But we're talking about art, okay? That's it. And that's precisely the reason why conservatives will grab onto any celebrity that's not like fucking Kevin Sorbo and celebrate the fact that they're like openly becoming right-wing, okay?
Some fun words for Governor Newsom. I have to read these tweets because they're amazing and they are so funny. Okay, first one, we'll do this one.
Wow, banger after banger. Thanks, Erica. You have a real commanding presence, Erica. Let's read some of your funny tweets about J.D. Vance. Sauceless, bro. Sauceless. This shit is washed. It's motionless. It's boring as fuck. Oh my God.
Unless you want to read it in your own voice. I think it'd be really great. Okay.
Oh, Gabby Poo, it only gets worse from here for you, buddy. It's the end of the road for you, my love. Get on the nearest jet ski and let that beautiful hair blow in the wind. It'll make you happier than this race that you will not win.
I need every barb to watch this, okay? And then watch this over and over again and then tell me if they're still on board. There ain't no way, okay? Look, I got a dog in this fight myself personally because I called this out a long time ago. I called this all the way back in 2021, okay? And I got my ass beat. I'll admit it. I saw this pivot 4 years prior, okay? And for the last 4 years, I have not been allowed near a Sephora because that's where all the barbs congregate, okay? I can't go to a Sephora. I'm scared. I know that there is going to be someone who's 35 years old with pink hair and is a barb who's going to stab me with a makeup pen straight to the fucking temple, okay? I can't do it. I think I can go back to Sephora's comfortably now, okay? Killed us on Twitter, bro. We lost good soldiers in this war. Your own regulator got chewed out in the barbed Twitter spaces, bro. It was like watching a car crash. Yeah. I've been getting my mom to get me pimple patches for 4 years because I can't go to fucking Sephora on my own because I'm scared. I'm scared of the barbs. Okay? Let's be real. What is this?
This one is for the boys with the swollen testes dropped out of the wedding because her bow was empty. Used to come in all the time with this crazy nuts. Got back no shit, now it's raising nuts. And he ill, I don't think it's real.
Yeah, that's from way back when she did the whole cousin's ball sack Gru thing. In all seriousness, I believe Nicki Minaj has been telling us who she was the whole time. The truth becomes the most obvious when you examine her verse from the song Monster. She mentions pulling up in a Tonka, the color of Willy Wonka. She also states that the first thing she will do will be to eat your brains. Nicki Minaj is really RFK Jr.'s brainworm. This whole time, it was right in front of us. Anyway, all right, let's continue. I gotta pee real quick. I'll be back.
Okay. One more.
Why not? Imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Haha, not even a trans adult would run on that. Normal adults wake up and think they want to see healthy, safe, happy kids. Not Gav, the Gav nots. Gav not in, Gav out. Send in the next guy, I'm bored.
So I'm just gonna let you riff. Like, I want you to say whatever you want to say to Mr. Newsom.
Dear Newscum, we don't have a problem cleaning up the scum if we have to. Please tread lightly. That's what I would say to Gavy Poo.
So with regard to the current administration, what has been maybe the biggest surprise for you, or something that you just really has been put on your heart that you've learned about our president and our vice president?
Well, I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president.
Ooh. Bro, you think she's like, you think there's a point here where she's thinking like, the fuck am I doing, man? These people are clowns. Or you think she's just like fully in? I feel like she's fully in. She's in it. It's just like, there has to be a point where she looks back at her career and goes, how do we get here? Like, there has to be a point in this conversation where like there's a quick flashback to like your apex point. You know what I mean? Where you're just, you know, you're dominating culture. And now you're sitting across from Erica fucking Kirk at the Toilet Paper USA Amerifest conference talking about how you respect the pedophile president, okay? Oof. Like an incredibly unpopular pedo-prez. The problem with the Barbs is that most of them have collapsed their entire identity into Nicki. Their whole worldview is filtered through whatever benefits her. So in this case, politics is a game to them, not about material consequences, but about what Nicki can extract from it and which narrative about their queen they can win that day. They treat literally everything like a Stan war when it's so much more fucking serious than that. The people she's sharing a stage with, who are doing so much damage to the country right now, do not like her fan base's people. Erica Kirk will sit there and smile her in her face with that pageant queen grin because what they like is the numbers and however they can amplify their hate. The very identity of probably most of the Barbs is exactly what those movements vehemently oppose. Charlie Kirk himself was against gay marriage and openly transphobic. Yet there's Nicki positioning herself there, throwing her fans under the bus, and it's really sad to watch them allow their fandom to get in the way of critical thinking about their own interests outside of that lady. 100% true. 100%. I noticed this as well. And it's really funny because like there are people who have yelled at Nicki Minaj and her fan base that are in that room that fucking despise her. There are people in that room that despise every single Nicki Minaj fan. There are people in that room, the majority in that room thinks Nicki Minaj's output and her contributions to culture is disgusting, right? Barbaric, monstrous, morally degenerate, perverted, perverse. And yet they're excited because they're like, oh, it's a famous person, right? Charlie Kirk himself used to listen to Nicki Minaj in private, right? Alongside Candace Owens. But on camera, what was Charlie Kirk saying about Nicki Minaj? Exactly what Ben Shapiro was saying about Nicki Minaj. Here is the okay, you want me to fucking watch the Instagram reel? Here, I will show you. Obviously we were inevitably gonna get here, okay? Yeah, here it is. Charlie Kirk, who we know in private was a major Nicki stan. Here's what Charlie was saying in public, though, about Nicki Minaj. This was, you know, when it came down to his output, this is how he presented it.
Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't.
Well, I mean, I don't even know. This might be a fucking...
I mean, Nicki...
There is a fuck ton of Charlie Kirk comments about Nicki Minaj in general. Candace Owens shares text messages with Charlie Kirk. Yeah, fanning out over Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z's verses on Monster, right? So one must ask the question why Charlie Kirk's output, which is the most important part of this, not his like fandom in private, but his output. Why was he so antagonistic towards Nicki Minaj? Why was he always fucking shitting on Nicki Minaj? The Barb's going to crucify you. I think the Barbs need to fucking take a cold, hard reality check, which is not going to come for many of the barbs. If they're holding on at this point, they're holding on for dear life. They're never going to fucking, they're just going to lean into the MAGA shit now, I guess. You're just going to have a bunch of barbs who are now MAGA, right? Alongside Nicki. Yeah, they're going down with the ship. The ship is sinking and they're going down with it. She defends pedos, hates on successful black women, starts beef with barbs, or starts beef with babies, is transphobic. Of course, she's strutting on stage at Toilet Paper USA. I would expect nothing less at this point. Goddamn, 80 fucking 9,000. Wonder if the multiple lawsuits she's embroiled in the damages owed has anything to do with her pressing the pedal in the MAGA grift. Judge may force sale of Nicki Minaj's $20 million SoCal mansion over debt owed to former security guard. Stan culture turned to brain rot. Stan culture always turns to brain rot. My point is, I am in favor of Louis Pisano's take on this. Like, I think this assessment is much more important because a lot of the people that are still invested in what Nicki Minaj does as you know, this 5D chess play or whatever. Like, oh, she must be leaning into the Trump side and the MAGA grift. Like, if you are holding on at that point, nothing will get you off the train, right? But you also have to understand, if you're holding on at this point, you're basically celebrating your own demise, okay? You are aggressively celebrating a movement and a person that's like staking their claim and their reputation on a movement that is choosing to put the crosshairs on you, okay? That's it. That's it. What? If you keep spamming the Reddit link, they will patch the hole? I don't know what you're talking about. Kaya is falling off. Literally, where did her head go? She's... Oh, she just woke up. She's sleeping. It made me wake her up. Anyway, let's keep going.
He has... I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys and to win and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact. He's from Queens, New York, like me. So, but what it's shown me personally is sometimes, you know, even in the worst feeling times in your life, you think that you're never going to come back from it. But you do. And our president shows that. He's been through every single thing a person could be through publicly. Having to constantly be lied on. It's not really that funny. Until you are in that person's shoes that's being lied on, you'll never understand what it feels like. That person is a human being. They have a family who has to read those lies.
Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God. Bro, this literally, you know what this feels like to me? This is like everyone yelled at me so much that I became right wing. Like, this is the, oh, you're making me do this meme, right? Oh, well, you know, people just kept saying I married a pedophile, which is fucking true, right? And now you forced my hand.
And that's not, and it's just not fair. But
look what you made me do.
Administration is full of people with heart and soul. And they make me proud of them. Our vice president, he makes me, well, I love both of them. But they're both powerful men, smart, strong, all of that. But both of them have a very
also, when people say like, oh, these people get lied on, it's like, first of all, every public figure gets lied on, myself included, okay? Sometimes they're not lies, like in your case, okay? Having said that, this shouldn't change your fucking worldview or your convictions. And also, if we're talking about like, oh, these people get lied on, but they're such wonderful people, and you're talking about Donald Trump, The entire Trump train moves by lying about entire swaths of the population. These are the motherfuckers that literally ran on, we are going to purge the boundaries of all migrants, and also that Haitians are eating cats and fucking dogs, okay? What is that if not a lie? It's a lie that J.D. Vance, who Nicki Minaj right now is saying is such a handsome man and such a cool person, unironically admitted was a lie. J.D. Vance straight up went on television, was like, it's a lie that Haitians are eating cats and dogs, but honestly, I'll keep saying that lie as long as people start paying attention to, you know, black people migrating into the country. It's bullshit. It's fucking insane. I hate this kind of this oversimplification, right? The oversimplification of like, well, you know, people are just like speaking ill of his name. I hate that people are speaking ill of Donald Trump's name. You know, these are good guys. It's like, what do you mean? They speak ill of entire broad swaths of the population.
Any ability to
and they don't just like talk shit about entire broad swaths of the population. They take action. Their words turn into action. Their words turn into mass deportation. Their words turn into fucking initiatives.
Someone that
harm people directly.
I can relate to them. When I hear them speak, I know that they're one of us. Like, I know that they're not. Don't you guys agree? They haven't lost touch of the world. You know, they're still connected to the world and what's happening in the world, with the younger people and older people, with the richer people and not so rich people. They have the ability to still connect and be real and make us feel proud to be American.
So why now have you been involved with speaking about politics? What was kind of the turning point for you? Yeah.
What was the turning point? Well, I just got tired of being pushed around. Yeah. Sometimes you just get tired of it, and then you realize, wait a minute, I have something inside of me that's stronger than what's out there. That's right. So.
Yeah, but those lies are about poor brown people, so it's not good. So it's good. Petty grievances of rich losers. Yeah, except Nicki Minaj is a black woman who may or may not, I don't even know if she still has a citizenship, but like on a live stream, she revealed that she doesn't have, after 36 years and millions of dollars of paying taxes to the United States, she still does not have a fucking American citizenship, and her entire fandom across the globe, you know, is comprised of a very diverse background. There's a lot of, you know, LGBT people in her fandom in America. There's a lot of black and brown people in her fandom in America. So her just like directly leaning into an administration and a movement that is saying every single Nicki Minaj fan needs to be fucking deported or imprisoned is psychotic. Okay? This is the type of shit that really pisses me off in general, when people are just like, oh, I got bullied into being right-wing. Like, do you have no fucking worldview at all? Do you not give a shit about anything? Why would you openly admit that you are spineless? This is the thing that I do not understand. Not only did those black and brown fans, her female fans, and her LGBTQ fans make her an incredibly rich and incredibly famous person, and now she's just like writing them off. But also, she's doing it in the weakest way possible. I hate that shit. This is my least favorite thing that people say whenever they're like, well, people yelled at me too much, so I dropped all of my previous convictions. All you're saying is that you're a grifter. You're an amoral grifter who will, you know, move in whichever direction that suits you personally. People have yelled at me every single day for the past fucking 12 years, okay? Nicki Minaj's stans, Barb's, have yelled at me, called me a white supremacist, as a matter of fact, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Did that cause me to switch teams? Did I go, you know what? I am one now. I'm a white supremacist now. I'm actually right-wing. No, of course not. You have to have some fucking convictions, man. What the hell is this?
When you've had enough, you realize, wait a minute, why do I even care about these people and what they think? Who are they? They don't even know who they are. So I'm not going to back down anymore. I'm not going to back down ever again.
Amen. Can the students in the room raise your hand? Wow. This question is for you guys. So you guys are very courageous and bold on your campus. Nicki, I know our students feel this way, but why do you think speaking your mind has become so controversial?
because people no longer are using their minds, their brains. So right now, just imagine, we're not allowed to have a different opinion anymore. We're not allowed to think out loud anymore. We're not, like, this is not what the world used to feel like. And especially for the young people, I don't want them growing up in a world where they feel like that. I mean, they deserve for their voices to be heard. They have valid feelings and they're thinking about things, and it deserves attention. You know, we should listen to what they're saying. And if you're growing up in a world that tells you it's taboo to say something that the masses don't agree with, that's not okay. And we're not gonna have it. And I love this. You know, it's giving the younger people confidence that they will need later on in life. You guys will need it, and you will have it. So I'm rooting for you.
Amen. Amen.
People see through this, right? Yeah. I mean, this is for absolutely nobody other than Nicki Minaj. I need you to understand. This is such a transparent attempt of leaning into a right-wing movement because you think that's where the entirety of society is shifting, even though you're basically too slow to pull the trigger, because she's doing this just for herself and nobody else, right? She's basically writing off her entire fandom. It's unimaginably selfish, it's unimaginably narcissistic. Oh, people yelled at me too much because of the fucking weird decisions that I made over and over again, you know, protecting people who have engaged in predatory sexual assault and child endangerment, whether it be my brother or my husband, right? And I have protected them, and people have thought that that's kind of strange, and they yelled about it too much. And I also lost the momentum that I once had. And so now I'm just like very openly moving in this direction in the grift, right? I'm leaning into this wave because I think that this is the next meta. Okay? It's very narcissistic. It's very obvious. And it's, I think, so obvious that you will see more and more fans just go, no. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I can't be a part of this anymore. The ones that remain, will get increasingly more isolated and increasingly more insane.
Again, Charlie would always say, it really does not take skill to be courageous. It takes a choice. It takes a decision. And I want to say again, thank you for coming and being courageous and being able to share your heart with us. And the reason why that also holds true sentiment-wise is because I know that...
Dude, also the permanent victimhood status of right-wingers is so funny. It's like, wow, thank you for being so courageous to go to a, multi-million-dollar conference that the president's entire family speaks at, where you defend the fucking president of the United States of America in what? His brave battle against like random fucking brown and black people living on U.S. soil that aren't doing any fucking crimes. Wow, thank you. How brave of you to defend the president of the United States of America. Like, I need you to understand, dude, who is the strongest, most powerful entity in American society? Of course, the random Guatemalan immigrant. That's who the most powerful force is in the U.S. society. And the least powerful, most maligned force, most unjustly maligned force in American society is, of course, the fucking president. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? These guys just, they never give up on the notion that they're constantly being attacked. They're constantly being attacked. It's just like, oh, you're so brave. You're so brave for defending the president against what? Trans teenagers? Really? That's bravery? The strongest, most powerful entity in American society is what? Trans teenagers, undocumented immigrants, and the most attacked, most unjustly maligned force in American society is the president, who is deploying the fucking military into black neighborhoods with regular frequency.
That you are getting a lot of backlash from your own industry. What is your reaction to that?
I didn't notice.
Amen. I feel the same way. When people are like, what do you think about them? I'm like, I don't think about them.
Bingo. We don't even think about them.
We don't have time to. We're too busy building, right?
Yeah, we're the cool kids.
Okay.
The other people, they're the ones who are still just disgruntled, but really they're just disgruntled with themselves. They are angry with themselves, you guys. So you can't wake up and think about somebody who is determined to just stay mad. I literally tell them, stay mad.
Amen.
Stay mad. Because we're going to stay joyful,
Yep.
and peaceful, and iconic, and smart, and we're going to stay thinkers. In a world that doesn't want us to think, we will think. By ourselves, on our own, we will continue to think.
This is something I know that's really important to you and on your heart. And I personally want to know what inspired you to speak out for the Christians that are being slaughtered in Nigeria.
Well, and that...
Yeah, she thought that was a good entry point into the MAGA grift. That's it. Like, propositioning. If she came out and was like, yeah, I want the president to pardon my brother who has a 25-year sentence for sexually assaulting a minor, that would probably not be received well, okay? So she had to find a way to, like, broach the subject matter in a way that is, like, more defensible, and that's it. That's the reason why she hit this. You are the most vindicated man in history against the barbs. We've all known all along she was a Republican voting for Mitt Romney.
Brings me back to our great president and this administration and our great...
Her brother and her husband both have pedophilia charges.
Country. That we take for granted that there, right now in this world, are people who cannot worship God as they please, where they please. We take it for granted because we have it. We can't even imagine not having that right. But every time we pray and fellowship, we have to remember the people that are right now in this world hiding.
Like, who is this for? What is this Christian pivot? Christianity in the United States of America, the purest expression of Christianity in modern American culture, is literally shitting on Nicki Minaj, okay? And everything that these evangelical Christians claim Nicki Minaj stands for. Strong black woman, being pro-LGBTQ. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? While simultaneously complaining about how you're under fire all the time for your opinions and for being godly. Okay? Doing it right now is also incredibly funny because this is like the last dance. Okay? This is the like, MAGA is dying. Anti-woke is dying. So it's fucking insane that, like, you pivot while it's at its weakest point.
To pray and fellowship. And we have to pray for them. And first of all, Nigeria is a place I've always loved. Someone very dear to me, my pastor, is Nigerian. I have lots of Nigerian barbs. And so hearing that people are being kidnapped, and while they're in church, people are being kidnapped, people are being killed, brutalized.
This is really less about pandering to Christians and more about cultivating and capitalizing on hating Muslims. Nah, it's not even that fucking complicated. It's just trying to find a way where she can actually enter the MAGA grift firmly, okay? A safe space. Her fans are assholes, and Nicki doesn't even like gay people. When she was asked about the tweet about the Pulse nightclub massacre, this was her response: I believe what the Bible says, and I won't change my views. I do and say what I want. What? I don't know if this is like I don't know that deep lore. Like, telling an audience at the Turning Point USA conference about the plight of Nigerians is just so, like, it's so transparently a grift, okay? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, if you even sincerely cared and you were like, oh, I mean, it's overemphasized. It's ISIS-backed fundamentalist groups that are constantly waging war, but it's not like a government-backed thing at all in the way that, like, MAGA represents it in Nigeria. I'm not going to get fully into the lore here. Obviously, ISIS-style terrorist organizations have been running amok all over Africa, which, for the record, has been an area of interest for America as well, an area where China has made significant gains. There's a much larger geopolitical game at play here. And of course, as always, the victims are the regular people that live in these countries. Okay. Having said that, the notion that this is like a major gripe and that you actually do care about the Nigerian Christians first and foremost, okay. Let's bring them into the United States of America then. Let's see how well that goes with this fucking crowd. I don't have an issue with that. I think it's great. Okay? But go ahead. Let's save Nigerian Christians. Let's allow Nigerian Christian refugees to come to the United States of America. Go ahead. Present that as an argument. Let's see if they do care about the safety and security of Nigerians, Christian or non-Christian alike, you know?
All because of their religion. And that should spark outrage in the great America. And that's what it did. And again, we're not backing down anymore. We are not going to be silenced by the bullies.
What is this? That was Megan, Cardi B crying, be so for real, wrong black woman chatter. What is happening? Did they link something wrong? I don't understand. Like, did they link something different? I'm confused. The barbs are here. I mean, it's fine. I hope this is a fucking important lesson. Oh, they said Nicki wrote WAP. Yeah, anyway. They made a joke about WAP and thought it was by Nicki. Oh, yeah. Okay. In any case, this is not even a real tweet, by the way, but it's pretty funny. Pop bass. Nicki Minaj reveals she's working on a song with Erica Kirk to honor Charlie Kirk's legacy for her new album.
Anymore, okay? Know that. Hear that. Receive that, bullies. We won't be silenced ever again. We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world. Amen?
Amen. I don't know if you can see this at home, but she's getting a ton of standing ovations.
Yeah, the real bullies are the people who won't be quietly persecuted, prosecuted, destroyed, have their lives ruined by this administration. Okay? That's who the real bullies are, everybody. The real bullies are the people who you know, don't just stand down when their neighbors or their family members are being fucking deported. Those are the real bullies, not the people doing that. Okay, not the most powerful entity on the planet, the United States of American government. It's actually the victims of the United States and its imperial endeavors. Those are the real fucking bullies. What are we doing? Jesus Christ.
I love you guys so much. Thank you guys.
Yeah, if she cares so much about Christians, at least she could have done the Tucker Carlson thing and talked about Christians in Gaza, for example. You know? I wonder how that would go in this crowd. Well, I guess maybe a lot of people are pro-Palestine now,
So going along that thread, can you tell us about your relationship with God? Because I think a lot of us want to hear.
Sure. Well, my relationship with God started, well, when I was a toddler in Trinidad. My grandmother, if things got spicy in the house, like if the kids and grandkids were arguing or fighting, she would make all the little kids go in her room and make us say and say a prayer. So later on in my life, well, not much later, when I was like 10, 11, 12, I started going to church in New York. And it changed everything. It changed my life for the better because I was going every week. I was hearing the word of God be preached. And then I was going home and I was applying it to my life. Even as a little girl, I learned how to pray very early. I always had this faith that made people think, you know, the kind of faith that you think a person is crazy, like, oh, please, like, you know, but I...
Oh, this is sped up, Chad. That's why she sounds so fast. I
had that faith instinctively. Once I started hearing about God and, you know, just getting more into the Bible, I got baptized when I was about, yep, amen. I got baptized when I was about 13. I got baptized. And I have just always applied those teachings to my life. I try to. And that's the thing. We're not perfect. We try. Sometimes I would wake up and feel so far removed from, not God, but from fellowship. You know, I was like, oh my God, I used to go to church on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday every week, like literally 3 days out of the week. And then later on in your life, you become busy and you start thinking, oh, well, you know, God is in my heart. And, you know, but then sometimes you can be in an industry as well that pulls you away even more. So lately, I've been feeling like, you know, like if you haven't seen a long lost best friend for, you know, for a long time and then you bump into them again.
This is the other side of this conversation that I also despise, when people are like, I'm so godly, I'm so Christian, like I love Jesus Christ and his teachings, and that's why I'm a right-wing Republican in 2025. What part of what Jesus Christ did in any of the fucking books resembles the current MAGA movement? Okay, who could forget how Jesus would refuse to cure the lepers, okay, and said, hey, got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, lepers. You want this fucking health care? You got to pay for it, bitch. You know, who could forget when Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, was running around being like, hey, we got to get these browns out of here. I mean, he was brown himself, but obviously in this fantasy is you know, white with blue eyes and blonde hair. Okay. Yeah, that's what he primarily invested himself in. Consistently talking about the downtrodden and talking about how they deserve their position in society because they probably were morally impure. Who could forget, you know, the teaching foundational tenets of Jesus Christ? Fuck the poor, he said. Like, I despise this shit. I'm not a religious person at all, but it's always so funny when Christians who are conservative, who are right-wing, will come out and just be like, I love Christianity. I love Christianity so much. It's my favorite thing. And that's why I love Donald Trump, the most Christian guy out there, you know? If there's a guy I can think of that's, you know, following the gospel, it's Donald Trump. Yeah. Yeah, Jesus Christ walked on water so we could make all of the lepers also walk on water with him away from wherever. I mean, away from Nazareth, Jerusalem. I don't know where the fuck he was. Away from the region, somewhere else. You know, he just did a long march, a death march for the poors.
That's how it's been feeling for me, like just going back to God and praying and talking to him. And, you know, and he said to me, where were you? Where have you been? I've been waiting on you. And since that moment that God had that conversation with me, I've been in such a better space, because now it's just, I'm thinking about, is God pleased with this? Not if the bullies and uglies are pleased, but if God is pleased. And when you have that personal relationship with God, guess what? Even in school, he's there. Wherever you are and whenever you need it, you have something that you can tap into immediately. It's immediate. You don't have to leave a message. He's not going to call you back. He's there immediately. As soon as you call on him, on the first ring, he's going to answer. And I want you guys to remember that. You're young, and first of all, I want to say, I'm proud of you guys. This is a major, to be so young, for you guys that are in college, to be so young and to care this much, this early in your life, it tells us how smart you are, and it tells us that there's hope for our.
Yeah, they care. Yeah. Speaking in front of the Hitler youth, it's so cool that you guys are politically active. It's cool. Don't worry about what your politics are. Let's not even examine what is a major guiding principle in your organizing. Like, what is the galvanizing factor here? What makes you really tick? It's just cool. It's just cool that you guys are involved in politics at an early age. God damn.
Future. So God bless you. Congratulations, you guys. You're amazing. Congratulations. You guys are amazing. Okay? Know it. Feel it. Yes. Yes. Proudly. Be it proudly. Be who you are proudly.
Amen.
Yes.
So what have you, I mean, you're an amazing mother. What have you seen that has been a struggle for young women today? And then also, since both of us have little boys, I would love for you to also talk about the male side of that question as well.
Okay, well, something that I've noticed recently is that for little girls, I think that no matter how you look, we should be trying to instill into them to be proud of how they look. Recently, in the media, it's almost been like a push to, it's not just making young black children feel proud of themselves, but it's almost like doing that and at the same time telling other children not to be proud of themselves. And I don't want any child feeling that.
Oh, this is so funny. Look, my expertise is in right-wing talking points, right? So when I see someone trying to do trying to like present right-wing talking points, but doing it so shittily, it just, I'm sorry, it triggers a part of my brain. What she's trying to do here is basically claim the CRT narrative, right? Like the all lives matter. You know, if you actually talk about the history of chattel slavery with an accurate framing that identifies black people not just as like a faceless, voiceless group of commodities to be traded, but instead human beings that were enslaved, then you're gonna make white people feel bad. Like, that's what she's trying to do here. She's trying to do the CRT narrative, like, oh, woke is making white people feel uncomfortable and bad and insecure about their history, and it's really fucked up. Nicki is saying, don't be ashamed to be white.
Way. If as black women, we felt that we were not being represented and not being admired for our beauty, if we felt like that as black women, why would we want to do that to other women? Why would we now need to make other people downplay their beauty so that we can feel, no, that's not how it works. I don't need someone with blonde hair and blue eyes to downplay their beauty because I know my beauty. Do you understand? It doesn't bother me that a woman...
Bro, it's so funny. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Who's doing this? Who is doing this? Who is running around saying white is ugly? Like, what? She tried to find this like narrow focus. Who is like, where is the momentum behind like white women are fucking the ugly movement? Where is that happening? Oh my God. JD sure clocked what you did. Yeah, Nicki Minaj said something in Memphis that was really profound. I'm paraphrasing, but she said, just because I want little black girls to think they're beautiful doesn't mean I need to put down little girls with blonde hair and blue eyes. We all got wrapped up over the last few years in zero-sum thinking. This was because the people who think they rule the world pit us against one another. Nicki Minaj rejects that. We all should. This is not a real thing. And it's so not a real thing that I don't even think this has like a lot of motion. Like the perceived victimhood narratives, right? The white people are under attack narratives, they do work on a lot of insecure people. They do work on a lot of insecure people, right? Their insecurity obviously stems from their horrible material conditions, lack of job prospects, and things of that nature. But I don't even think this angle works, because who the fuck has encountered a real moment of crisis where they send their, blonde and blue-haired daughter to school, and then the kindergarten teacher is like, everybody knows blonde and blue hair, blonde and blue eyes are terrible. They're ugly. It's a marker of ugliness. Like, what the fuck? There has never been a moment in American history where that's been the case. If anything, there's only been the reversal of that, and it still has its remnants in modern culture, even where, black students get penalized for having natural hair and things of that nature, right? Like, that still very much exists. Maybe not to the same degree as it once did, but that's still there. Whereas the reversal of that has never existed in American history and never will exist in American history. So, like, you're just completely biting black people shit once again. You know what I mean? Now, it's ironic that Nicki Minaj is doing this because she's black and was profoundly important at some point for the culture in general, right? But it's crazy. There has literally never been a moment where someone has been punished or penalized in American culture and American history. There's no systematic racism against white children. Like, that's insane. That's an insane thing. Jewish supremacists spent the last 2 years talking about how they were under attack while they were doing genocide, and everyone's just copying their strategy. Brother, if you think that it's new to just Jewish supremacists or Zionists, you are delusional. That is the hallmark of fascist commentary. White people have been doing this. White supremacists have been doing this for basically as long as white supremacy has existed as a concept. What do you mean? That's the whole point of being a right-winger. creating manufactured hysteria around perceived victimhood. That's literally the oldest playbook. It's the oldest playbook in the game. You know, white genocide, white genocide, white genocide, white genocide is happening. It's happening. It's happening. The only difference between Zionists utilizing this narrative versus white people utilizing this narrative is that more people are obviously aware that, you know, America is a white first society, right? It was designed around the preservation of chattel slavery, and a lot of remnants of that social dynamic, a lot of remnants of that racial dynamic still very much exists, as opposed to Jews have been historically marginalized. And obviously, while it's not the case in contemporary American existence and in American society, there are points of not only marginalization, but genocide that they can point to at least at least create a more reasonable narrative around their point of marginalization, which makes this conversation a little bit more complex when you're having it in America. Okay. Whereas white people can't really do that. They can't really, you know, point to any historic marginalization. And that's precisely the reason why, yeah, you can point to like Catholics, for example, in America being marginalized, but you can't do that for white people, because whiteness as a socio-political construct is designed around domination. Do you understand? Didn't you watch a bunch of views ripping on blue-eyed people like this week? It's minor, but it does happen. Brother, oh, God. We just got to go back to the drawing board, and I have to explain something to you, okay? A lot of people misunderstand the N-word, okay? A lot of white people. They think it's just a mean word, right? It's a mean word that offends the sensibilities of black people. That's not the reason why it's a no-no word, okay? I need you to understand this. It's the historic oppression and the continued versions of said oppression, systematic oppression against black people, that makes this word a reminder of the racial hierarchy, okay? The automatic dehumanization. That right there is the reason for why there is a different significance for this word as opposed to the word cracker, okay? And the same principle goes for someone clowning on white people with blue eyes versus someone clowning on white people with blue eyes, myself included, because I was engaging in that, because I was taking the piss out of the whole Erica Kirk situation, saying like there's something about her that like rubs me the wrong way or whatever. There is no historical association with like being dominated for having blue eyes as a white person. Like there is no ongoing or previous historic point of marginalization that you can point to. You contribute nothing positive to this world and are an active nuisance in the political landscape. You and whatever fake ideology you represent are toxic and are only thought-provoking to the biggest idiots. Blow yourself up in a video game, you communist terrorist sympathizer. I'll take my ban now. No, we will not be banning you. Chatter. Thank you for your wonderful contribution. But that's so funny that you think this is like you strapped on an ideological suicide vest onto yourself and you're bravely putting yourself in the line of fire. You're like, oh yeah, you contribute nothing. Ban me, bitch. Yeah, you really thought you were cooking with that one, right? Come on, I'll take my ban. I'll take my ban now. Like you did at the ICE protest, law. Wait, what? Like I did at the ICE protest? I strapped myself with a suicide vest on the ICE protest? Is that doesn't even make any sense. Did you get too excited that you got noticed, but you didn't get the ban? So you're just trying to like immediately pivot to another thing, but it doesn't actually make sense at all. It's not a good analogy. They gave up, checked their logs. Okay. Yeah, it's like the dynamic is different. A lot of people try to neutralize and do this like colorblind approach when they talk about like different versions of persecution, like, oh, you're just being racist. Racism is colorblind, all this shit. Like, no, it's not the same, right? And I think you understand that as well. It's exactly like making a watermelon KFC joke when talking about black person versus a baguette joke when talking about French people, right? Like the stereotyping and the dehumanization actually has not only is it a reminder of the dehumanization that has existed, but also is consistent still in modern society, as opposed to just like making a fucking joke that is not disparaging French people at all, right? Anyway, KFC did not come from Africa. Baguette come from France. Wrong analogy. What? No, that's not a wrong analogy at all. One is a contemporary example of automatically claiming that all black people are barbaric savages. The other one is just like making a joke about bringing up something that is like identified and associated with like French culture. Anyway, yeah, a historically dehumanized group of people having stereotypes that aim to otherize them when the wounds of the past have yet to be recognized unanimously, let alone healed. Exactly. In any case, we're gonna continue. Where did the guy go? Where did my goat go when he was talking about how I'm a communist sympathizing terrorist or something? I'm new to Hassan P. What I have to say is that although the guy's a bit woke and radical, he is still part of the system. The way you can test this by asking is he would be down with dismantling white supremacy and capitalism. That will tell you all you need to know. I understand what you're saying, but why would whites, so to speak, play by these rules in which everyone can dunk on them and they should just shut up? I mean, even if it's morally right, why would they engage in something that is against their interests? First of all, wait, no, this is a new person. This is a new question. This is a different person. His brain shorted and now he's doing shock Kaya jokes. Oh, on loop. Jesus Christ. There's no PC with limited dialogue, dude. He just bugged. He bugged. He's like, electrocute Kaya. Shock Kaya. No, this is a different person. Okay. I will say it like this. I'm white. Okay. It's about not being a pussy. Okay. That's it. It's about not being a fucking pussy and not being a little baby. It's about expanding your consciousness, understanding the plight of other people, understanding the historical significance of certain forms of oppression. Okay? Because that argument that you're entertaining literally just justifies white supremacy. Why would I take down slavery as a system when I'm white? Why would I care about the plight of other people? Why would I care about the humanity of other people when the unjust and inhumane constructs that exist and have been normalized and calcified in society actually benefit me or don't harm me at all? You're just finding a way to say you're kind of a fucking asshole. And that's fine, right? There are a lot of assholes, okay? There are a lot of assholes, or a lot of selfish assholes out there. But my whole job, at least, is to try to get people to not be fucking assholes and be mindful and be considerate of other people and the plight that they go through. Okay? That's how it turns into that's how reactionary politics turn into vice signaling. The starting point is me, my own personal interest, and trying to establish tribal lines off of being white, for example, and white identity, a completely made up construct. To use, I guess, outdated modes here, because, sorry, I'm toxic. But like, that's not what real men do, right? When people talk about like being a man, be a real man, it's like, at what point in your life were you educated that being a real man is not about defending those who have less than you, but instead striking down at those who are vulnerable? Never, right? So how did this happen where in your adolescence or in your adult life, you just decided, I'm going to be a fucking selfish, I am going to be a selfish asshole. I'm never going to be on board with anything that does not immediately benefit me, or even beyond that, I'm never going to dive deeper and maybe figure out how this could be beneficial for me in the long run. As I like to do from time to time, there is a selfish, self-interested argument for socialism, regardless of your class position, even if you're super fucking wealthy, okay? If you recognize that the profit incentives are actually destroying the planet that you currently live on, that your next of kin is going to live on, then you should probably choose to work against that, to make sure that we preserve this planet. to save this planet that we live on. There's no other options. Or if you were to think that like, you know, oh, I don't like how much crime there is in major cities, in urban areas, let's say, right? Like the racialized attitude that many people have. You can identify where that crime is coming from. And the copium for a lot of privileged people, a lot of people that lean into more white supremacist undertones is, oh, it's their culture. Oh, it's their race, right? Oh, black and brown people are inferior. That's the reason they're more barbaric. They're more violent. They're more angry. That's the reason why they actually engage in crime. They have a higher tendency to engage in crime. Meanwhile, one, that's objectively untrue. And two, it doesn't actually provide a solution to the problem. Nobody likes crime. Nobody wants to live in an environment where there is a lot of crime happening. So the real solution to that is systematic. The real solution stems from or starts from identifying how this happened to begin with, how black and brown communities were systematically written off, displaced, underfunded, how black people and brown people were undermined, and how poverty manifested in these communities. And then the solutions come after that recognition: restitution, reparations, economic justice, trying to eradicate poverty in these communities so that it's less likely that crime will take place in these communities in general. Because at the end of the day, like I said, no one wants crime. Nobody wants fucking crime. Nobody's doing it because they're like, oh, I love doing crime. No, people do it because they have no other options. And it's not always like a Jean Valjean, right? It's not always like you're stealing a loaf of bread. But people do it when they have no options and they have no hope, no dreams whatsoever. And the only social function is some kind of criminal element, you know? What? Oh my God. The DOJ uploaded a video of Jeffrey Epstein. That's a fake video. 12-minute video of what appears to be Jeffrey Epstein. Wait, what? Is that real? Extremely disturbing. The DOJ uploaded a 12-second video showing what appears to be Epstein attempting to kill himself. The camera's timestamp is the day his body was discovered. The DOJ quietly released the footage but didn't link the video yet to their main Epstein files page. Wait, what? No shot. Wait, actually? Dropsite reported on it? No, this is not real. This is a recreation, chat. This is not real footage. No. What are you talking about? Does this look like real footage of Jeffrey Epstein to you? It doesn't even look like it's Unreal Engine 4, dude. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's clearly fucking CGI. Now, what's interesting about it is, like, why did they make this CGI recreation? And we'll get into that in a second. All right, let me finish off with this Nicki Minaj shit, and then we'll do it again.
Feels and says that she's beautiful. Why shouldn't she feel that? Why have we gotten to a point where certain colors or certain kinds of people have to be afraid of loving themselves and loving the way they look? Like, isn't that wild? And so for little girls, I don't want what was done to little black girls done to little white girls. I don't want it done to any girls. I want all the little girls in the world to know that you are unique, you are beautiful, you are you, and you can compliment another girl, you can compliment another woman and still know that you are epic and amazing. So that's what I would say for the girls. And I know I know my adults understand clearly where I'm going with that. I don't like that. I don't like people making.
Sorry, Hassan, but you're wrong. What about the crime that goes on in prisons? The guards beating inmates. They don't do that crime out of desperation. They do that because they're evil. Oh my God. Or listen. Obviously, not every single fucking instance of crime comes from your proximity to wealth if you are in poverty. Okay, please stop. There's also socially maladaptive behavior. There's crime born out of antisocial personality disorders. Like, that's not. We're not factoring every single thing. I'm just painting this with a broad brush, as broad of a brush as possible. But the reality of the matter is, you can still say that material conditions play a formative role in why people develop in the way that they do, and then have a higher likelihood of being in a situation where they can exercise power over others and have complete control over others and decide to do evil shit, okay?
Other people feel badly about themselves in any way. We need to nurture young girls. yes, whether they are black, white, Asian, Hispanic, they still need to be nurtured. They cannot continue to pay for other people's sins, so they haven't done anything wrong.
Amen. And what do you think about for young men? For young men.
And for young men, don't be new scum. Yes, see, dear young men, you have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did. I love you. You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord, and words are words, but I know her heart, and it doesn't even matter. And you say what you want to say because I know your heart. I will not judge that.
Sister. Thank you. For boys, be boys.
Amen.
Be boys. It's okay. Be boys. It's nothing wrong with being a boy.
Amen.
How about that?
Amen.
How powerful is that? How profound is that?
Amen.
Boys will be boys, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
What's something the media and the world in general misunderstands about you?
Oh, I think people think maybe that I'm mean, or, maybe when you have a strong presence as a woman, it's easy to.
She said that J.D. Vance is an assassin. I missed it.
I love this woman. She's an amazing about this. I've been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the
Further back, I was pissing chat. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
You have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president.
Oh, so embarrassing. So embarrassing. So embarrassing. How can you get yourself to say shit like that? God damn, you are a whole ass, grown ass woman, bro. That's crazy. Oh, our president is so sexy. Oh my God. He is so sexy, dude.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
the assassin J.D. Vance. Oh shit. What does she know? It is a testament to how far we have fallen, where you can't even fucking say, someone is an assassin without a fuck ton of conspiracy theories propping up. Specifically, in this situation, obviously people are going to say, oh, J.D. Vance assassinated Charlie Kirk so that, he could marry Erica Kirk or something. Because, there are so many people out there who will just, tune into this moment and go, that's it. That's right. Now I know.
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did. I love you. You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord. And
yeah, she noticed that. Oh, shit. She noticed that that was going to be reflected on later.
Words are words, but I know her heart, and it doesn't even matter. And you say what you want to say because I know your heart. I will not judge that.
Sister. Thank you. For boys, be boys.
Amen.
Be boys. It's okay. Be boys. It's nothing wrong with being a boy.
Amen.
How about that?
Amen.
How powerful is that? How profound is that?
Amen.
Boys will be boys, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
What's something the media and the world in general misunderstands about you?
Oh, I think people think maybe that I'm mean, or, maybe when you have a strong presence as a woman, it's easy to just box you into one box, one category of mean or, other words.
They want to put you in a box to be able to label you what they want you to be, but you're so much more than that.
Because you intimidate them, and they want to find something. And if they can't find something, they'll make something up.
They will.
And so they'll put a label on you. But, it doesn't, what people misunderstand about me now, I don't care about it. I really don't. In fact, I love that they misunderstand me now.
I do too, because it shows that you're not a part of this world. Someone once told me, do not be surprised when the world acts like the world. And I held on to that so much, because even being in this role now, they're trying to figure me out. Okay, enjoy. I am who I am. There's nothing to hide. And I know you feel the same way when people misunderstand you and you're like, okay, well, I have an audience of one. Well, now I have an audience of two, but I have an audience of in heaven. And I know the Lord knows me, Lord knows you, and he put everything in you to be able to make a difference in this world. Likewise to all of you students and everyone else here. And to go into that further, I know that this, and I'll end on this, I know that a lot of you guys have been hearing about, you know, we are doing this for Charlie, and we're doing this for his legacy, but we're also doing it because each and every one of you guys have a legacy. And I want you guys, when you leave this conference, to take something with you. And when it gets tough out there, I want you to hold with you a word. It could be anything. For me, it's Charlie. But for you guys, it could be, I don't know, refocus, family, children, future, something. Hold that word in your heart so that when you go back out into the world and you have someone screaming in your face, someone spitting in your face, someone flipping your table on campus, someone making fun of you because you're a conservative, someone making fun of you because you love the Lord, say that word to yourself, out loud or internally, to refocus your brain and your heart and your soul, to know that you're about something so much bigger and greater. The legacy with Turning Point USA, yes, but also for yourself. And so, Nicki.
Okay, this stuff, oh God. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Even when Nicki Minaj is grifting and talking about how sexy Donald Trump is or whatever, she still has like better stage presence and better charisma as like a person who has spent many, many years being on camera. Whenever Erica Kirk gets the mic and starts chirping, I'm like, Jesus Christ, when will this fucking stop? It's just like she's saying so much and saying nothing at all at the same time. It's so Rizless. God damn, dude. Ay, ay, ay. It's just, I need to skip it.
World for your family, for your baby.
That it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. You don't have to, you know, sometimes there's a lot of things projected onto you when you change your own mind. You know, they project fear, shame onto people who don't think and do as they think and do. But I've traveled the world. I've performed for huge crowds all around the world. And no matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this. Because this is a direct...
Oh my God. Being at the Turning Point USA conference means more to me than all of the concerts. God damn, dude. God damn. She said, hey, yo, Barbs, you hear that? She said, fuck you. One of Nicki's only tweets about Trump is accusing someone else for pandering for a pardon. July 8th, 2025. Deseret, were you out marching with your fellow Mexican immigrants? Oh, right. You were pardoned by President Trump, so you kind of can't, right? I mean, it kind of implies you guys are cool with him while y'all seem to pretend to be against him. Or are y'all not his friend either anymore, just like Diddy? I mean, if someone pardoned me, we'd be friends for life. You've done so much evil to black people. Now you've turned your back on your own as well, it seems. Don't you guys over there keep black artists fighting while you sit back and benefit from both parties? If I had gotten a pardon from President Trump, imagine the uproar. Yet the Rock Nation CEO does it, and yup, you guessed it, silence. Black people, until you speak on this, you can never, ever, ever. I wonder how Deseret thanked President Trump for that kind gesture. Law got a Hispanic woman allegedly calling her son-in-law N-word with a hard R under the protection of y'all so-called black savior while y'all sat around making them rich. When y'all needed them the most, they were silent though, huh? Chin up. Jay came out to perform recently. Once that legal stuff started coming out, yet when Obama was pleading for the brothers to vote for Kamala, the richest and most influential black rapper was nowhere to be found. Maybe I'm forgetting. I don't know. Did he even say one word? It seems like an urgent request by the tone of Obama's speech, yet brother billionaire never got in the field for y'all, huh? When y'all needed him the most. After all that money he made off the Democratic Party. Brainwash black people. Those blogs won't be here a year from now either, so enjoy. She was posting Tucker clips too. Yeah, this was the jump off point, and I'm just gonna run this real quick 15 or 13 minute video here for the new heads in here. Being a leftist is about being right, but too early, okay, and being endlessly punished for it, okay. Now this is from when I initially called out Nicki Minaj for doing a right wing pivot. All the way back in 2021 at the peak of COVID, where she decided to become a COVID truther, speaking about how her cousin's balls were inflamed and massive due to the COVID vaccine. Let's take a look.
Nicki Minaj is a huge rap artist.
She revealed she would not get vaccinated.
They want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met.
She would not be getting vaccinated until she did enough research.
I'm working on that now.
The rapper also went on to claim that
my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it.
And his testicles swelled up so much.
His testicles became swollen.
He's got giant testicles.
His testicles became swollen.
His testicles became swollen.
You know, the headline's like, she's so dumb, she thinks that it's gonna make your testicles fall off. Whatever they said, complete lies, by the way.
Your cousin's friend's balls exploded.
It's amazing to see them panic in the face. She doesn't care if Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's testicles are enlarged.
Which we saw the likes of Hassan Piker responding.
I'm sorry, Nicki Minaj. Like, you're fucking stupid. Nicki Minaj is anti-vax? Oh, let's go. They want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm afraid I'm gonna get the fucking Barb's hatred for this one, but I'm sorry, Nicki Minaj. Like, you're fucking stupid. And so am I. Like, you're never gonna be able to do your own research to figure out the technology behind the vaccine, okay? I'm sorry, you're a fucking idiot. Like, and so am I, okay? I can't ratio Nicki Minaj, bro. She is the most active community, dude. It's just never gonna happen. I mean, what are they gonna say? Do not do it. You'll be eaten alive even when you're speaking the truth.
My shoulder angel.
Do it. They can't be any more rabid than the left when you got a house.
I'm gonna lead you down the path that rocks.
Black people's business, don't do it. Chile, big boobs, any of these work? What?
What does that have to do with me?
No. He's got a point.
You're sort of confusing me, so,
I'm not gonna say anything. The world awaits your wonderful contribution to the scientific community. I can't even fucking... The world awaits your wonderful contribution to the scientific community. There you go. Nobody got me. Fucking my community got me, okay?
They did not got me.
Ratio complete, get destroyed Barbs. Me ratioing Nicki Minaj only brings the ire of the Barbs to me. You understand that, right? Like, I feel like the Barbs are gonna get mad and be like, I'm a racist person or something.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device in which suggestions or warnings about events to come are dropped or planted.
They haven't actually come for me that hard so far. I don't know. There's just so much going on. I ratioed Nicki Minaj. The Barbs want to murder me a little bit. All I know is that I fucking ratioed her into oblivion. It's very obvious that Nicki Minaj's cousin, in full confidence, was informed by their friend that their ball sack was swollen and they were impotent, most likely because they got a fucking STI, okay?
Boy, you didn't tell me your cousin was Nicki Minaj.
The Barbs are coming after me a little bit, not in the way that I thought they would. They haven't, like, sent death threats yet. Shut the fuck up. You really think you can go through the Barbs as if we won't eat your entire career up? Don't get too brave now. The only reason you have any sort of audience is because you used to be hot. Now you're a fat, ugly guy who's aging at the speed of white. The clock's ticking and you're damn near 40. You literally are in the middle of your lifespan and you're as self-conscious and ill-tempered as a teenage boy. Why is a fucking Nicki Minaj fan talking about how I'm fucking rapidly reaching 40? Dog, you're a fucking Nicki Minaj fan. She's literally about to be 40. I am a fucking Barb, and I'm not saying that because, like, I don't want the wrath of the Barbs to fucking murder me. Like, you will be joining a concerned effort with, like, a bunch of Nazis that want to already fucking do this shit. So, like, welcome, Barbs, to the Nazi movement, I guess.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
Oh, a lot of moments like this in old Hossie boy's career, you know? She's doing that thing where she's like, please show me where I said I'm worried about anything. That's bullshit. You literally posted the fucking ball sack thing because you were worried that this is a backtrack. Why do people backtrack like this, dude? Just say it with your chest, dude. You're fucking anti-vaxxer.
Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's testicles who are swollen from taking the vax. That's the claim. It's the last part of Nicki Minaj's tweet that enrages them. Make the decision yourself like a free human being and, quote, don't be bullied.
I guess officially go to war with the Barbs. They will fucking murder me, but, you know, if I die, I die.
Let's go.
Nicki Minaj. So then, yeah, Nicki Minaj quote retweets me when I say, you know, he's a white nationalist, right? Right. I can't speak to, agree with, even look at someone from a particular political party. People aren't human anymore. If you're black and a Democrat tells you to shove marbles up your ass, you simply have to. If another party tells you to look out for that bus, stand there and get hit. Clock them. Quote tweeted me, right, I can't speak to agree with or even look at someone from a particular political party. People aren't human anymore. If you're black and a Democrat tells you to shove marbles up your ass, you simply have to. If another party tells you to look out for that bus, stand there and get hit.
Calling all barbs, calling all barbs.
The barbs are coming. The barbs are coming. Yo, Nicki Minaj stands. Look at this, dude. Dang, you're really unstoppable. You represent a lot of people who are silenced. Like, what are you, like a fucking white supremacist Nicki Minaj fan? How does this work, dude? Make this make sense to me. She liked the tweet saying, exactly, not everything has to be about labeling and disagreeing with somebody just because they're a part of something. Bro, what they're a part of is white nationalism. What the fuck are you guys saying? I am so confused. Yeah, come on, dude. It's just a club. Like, I don't get it. I'm telling you, Tucker Carlson wouldn't even let you on the bus, let alone the back of it.
Pull the lever, drunk.
And then people were like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. How dare you invoke? How dare you invoke off of the example that she used, an analogy about white supremacy? This was, yeah, and this was my, exactly, this was my first cancellation by Black Twitter. This was it. This was the first time. And ever since then, every single other time, it's always been shit like this, okay? It's always been shit like this. Now, part of the reason why I'm showing you this is not to just be like, oh, look, I was right all along. You know, you should listen to me, okay? Don't lump Black Twitter with the barbs. No, back then, the barbs were a major force to be reckoned with on Black Twitter. Don't even act like that wasn't the case. We're talking 2021. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. But back then, the barbs were a force to be reckoned with on Black Twitter. There were a lot of major Black Twitter celebrities that were barbs themselves openly. Do not even fucking lie. Do not even fucking lie and act like that wasn't the case. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. And I think a lot of people have probably reflected on their past behavior, their past allegiances, their past attitudes. So that's why they're like a little embarrassed by it. But that was the case. Bus joke from a white guy's dangerous territory. Come on. Hey, come on. It's been 4 years. Can we be serious? It was cynical. It was fucking cynical. The barbs cynically leaned into, well, you're racist for telling a black woman that she's not allowed to align with white nationalists. She's a black woman. She's allowed to align with white nationalists if she wants to. Okay, well, now she's aligning with all the white nationalists. What's up? While they're doing white nationalism. No? Really? That's unacceptable? Why do not say that? What the fuck? What am I saying? Like, I'm saying Tucker Carlson is racist. Like, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I won't do it. I don't want to fucking get clapped up. Why do people backtrack like this, dude? Just yeah. It was not even, these people are acting like you said the N-word. No, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even fucking, I didn't even tweet it out. That's the best part. Not only did I not tweet it out, they literally filmed, like they clipped the part where I'm like, all right, sure, I won't tweet it out. And they said the intention behind that was the most white supremacist, most white supremacist thing you could have done, or whatever the fuck. Like, it's a bad look, sweetie. It's a bad look, sweetie. And then they just pummeled that shit into the fucking ground. And to this day, I still think it's like, it was peak woke. So a lot of people were maybe a lot of people were a little bit too peak wokeified. Yeah, I didn't even post the tweet. They just screenshotted me typing it out and were like, you tried to post this racially insensitive tweet. Yeah, that was woke one. That was woke one. And people still will do it. They'll be like, it's a bad look. Brother. It is contextually not a bad look at all. It is the analogy that she's using, and it's about me talking about a white supremacist. Okay? Not gonna lie, the people who told you not to tweet that, save you from the cancellation, it didn't work. People still fucking canceled me, which is why it's bullshit. Cancellation is bullshit. It's not real.
Just say it with your chest.
Oh, they locked her Twitter because she was like still doing fucking anti-vax shit? Oops. They didn't like what I was saying over there on that block. I guess my poll was gonna be asking questions. Okay, I like being fucking dumb, then boom, can't tweet. She keeps relegating back to like, I'm not actually an anti-vaxxer, I'm just asking questions. You know, Tucker Carlson likes asking questions too. Like, should black people be allowed to vote? Yeah, literally. Look at what Tucker Carlson said about the guy who was, oh, thanks, Austin Ox. Did you just get Nicki suspended on Twitter for doubling down? No, that was not me. Please don't say that that was me. I don't want the fucking Barbs to murder me and my family, okay?
Foreshadowing as a narrative.
He's live on IG. There's 145,000 people watching her. Holy shit, dude.
But now listen to this. You guys, has something ever happened in your life and you didn't really pay it much mind, right? But then you slept on it and then you realized there was something even more layered there. You had to unwrap it and unravel it, right? And sometimes something that was meaningless to you or not that meaningful becomes a gem when you go back and unravel it, right?
What the fuck? Is this Nicki Minaj's Joker moment? What the fuck, dude?
It's starting to feel a little scary that you can't speak. You can't speak for the fear of the mob attacking you.
Oh God.
If that doesn't give
no.
you chills up and down your fucking spine.
Bro, this is literally the beginnings
scary.
of. This is 100% the beginnings of like culture war shit, like cancel
You should
culture.
be able to ask questions about anything you're putting inside your body. But don't y'all see what's fucking happening? Don't you?
Historians one day will look back at this moment. Cultural anthropologists will look back at this moment, watch this video and go, oh, this was a turning point. It makes sense. This is just like China.
We are living now in that time where people will turn their back on you if you don't, not only not agree, fuck not agreeing, but people will isolate you if you simply speak and ask a question. Y'all don't see what the fuck is happening? And Twitter can just wake they crusty ass.
Almost an entire year after her brother, once again, was sentenced to 25 years for child rape. For the record, that was, I think, probably another, big pivot point.
Up and stop me from asking questions, to stop a person from. So what it's making me think now is that there's something bigger to it. Like when I kept on seeing all these people with all these conspiracy theories, I would be like, oh, what? Oh, please, But what in the world scared y'all that much that made you disable my fucking Twitter?
Oh, what the fuck? I'm trending on Twitter? Oh, no.
But listen to me, please. Open your fucking eyes. Open your eyes. That's all.
Why white people they feel like, oh, let me just be our boys. No, bitch.
They consider themselves to.
Do you think Tucker Carlson? Yeah. Yep. This doesn't excuse you using black trauma as a joke to prove a point. You don't got to tell me nothing because I'm a black person telling you what's racist. You're a white man and you have no place to tell me what's offensive and not to my community. Do you think Tucker Carlson being pro-segregation is a joke? It's not a joke to me.
Educated on our issues. But
you're acting dense and not understanding what people are saying. Your performative activism of using black trauma as a clapback is weird and racist. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You're this mad about a tweet that stayed in the drafts instead of a dude who says brown and black immigrants are dirty every night to 9 million honkies being promoted by your favorite artist. Deranged stan behavior. Back then, I used to entertain this kind of stuff a lot more. I would just like reply over and over again. I would just duke it out. Didn't give a shit.
They're not black people.
So pretty much typing and saying a racist clapback means it's not racist. You knew not to tweet it due to your own following telling you not to post it. You keep deflecting on what we are discussing now, and literally nobody on this thread defending him. No, the counter is not racist. People in my chat stopped me because they knew dumbass stands like you would latch onto it because it's easy to misconstrue and deflect away from your own guilty conscience that you don't like that your fave posted positively about a white nationalist. I want to read this Twitter thread with sound effects. You know what I mean? Like just every time like that. Leftists are so racist. Wow. Racism is when you point out Tucker Carlson would be pro-segregation. Thank you for the brilliant analysis. I didn't even send the tweet, but it's wild that Barb's apparently are more sensitive about my drafts than Tucker's white nationalism. Yeah, whatever, but this is weird. Nicki Minaj is in Twitter jail, and her IG story sounds like the origin story of the Joker, talking about cancel culture, etc., how the mob is similar to Chinese censorship. Tucker Carlson is 100% pro-segregation. If you're more mad about me pointing that out, perhaps you care more about standing Nicki than anything else. That Stan account now?
Nicki Minaj.
Anyway, let's keep going. End it. And literally said he did not care either. Like, mans want to decide what is and isn't racist. Barb's use half this energy against Tucker Carlson challenge. Impossible difficulty. The issue is that, and then Armenian e-girl, the issue is that people have is that comments and jokes like this, blah, 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 is a non-starter. The entire thread and responses are psychotic. No one is defending Tucker here either. Why are you going so hard to defend a joke so poor in taste that even your own dumbass chatters told you not to post? Hunter HHS. I like you, dog, but this is weird. Because I don't think it's a fucking joke, man. My chatter stopped me because they knew it would get misconstrued and weaponized by weirdo stands who were desperate to latch on to anything from people criticizing Nicki to move the attention elsewhere, as they're doing now.
Do y'all know who he's related
You're shaking and throwing up.
to? Is his uncle. His higher staff quit because he didn't want to pay them a livable wage.
He tweeted this. He said, black.
It gets worse. Hassan, you are dead. You are a white man. How the fuck are you going to tell us what is and what isn't racist? White leftists are racist. He thought he killed this. ... You and Tucker can go to hell. All stand shit aside. So, not every black person who is mad at you, Hassan Auntie, not every black person who is mad at you is a Barb or Stan, you brick face. Now, here's the thing. That's true. That's true. Like, genuinely, if he doesn't apologize for shit like this, I can't see myself watching his content anymore. Not every person that was yelling at me was black. And not every person that was yelling at me was a Nicki Minaj stan. Okay? And yes, the brick face part is true. I do have a bricked up face. Anyway, but what's interesting is, at least from my perspective, two things I want to talk about. Number one, leftist tendency to pile on because they think there is a situation where someone is being immoral from their perspective. Leftist purity spirals and how quickly they jump on board without really thinking about it critically, especially because it's going to look bad in that moment, right? It's going to look bad. No one wants to fucking stake their claim or their reputation to be like, hey guys, this is a person who has spent the last, at that point, 10 years of his career advocating for these issues. I think we're like jumping on him for no reason. No, everybody gets in on it. Even the Hunter HHH guy, who I think is like still a fan, right? Like he's not like a bad person at all. So that's number one. That's number one. Number two, at no point did I fucking turn around and go, you know what? Everybody's yelling at me. They're calling me a white supremacist. They're trying to fucking cancel me. I guess I'm right wing now. You know who did do that though? Fucking Nicki Minaj. Okay? That's the difference. Have some fucking conviction as a leftist. I despise the left, and yet that does not shake me away from the convictions that I have, putting empathy first in my politics, making sure that everyone is doing their very best to leave a better world, a better future. That's what you got to be like. Be a little bit more stubborn. Have a little bit more fucking conviction. What is this nonsense? Oh my God. The left is mad at me. They're canceling me. They're calling me a racist. Well, I'll show them. I'll become it. Get the fuck out of here. You're not a real one. You're not a real one. You know how many fucking points this shit? So are Barbs just stupid stands? Barbs are stands at Nicki Minaj. Okay? But this isn't just Barbs. There are fucking other annoying leftists on here who are jumping on board too. Yeah, using black trauma as a joke and telling black people what we're dumbass stands for not agreeing with you is definitely not racist. Right? Like, think about where this came from. Also, some of the stands are still on it, for the record.
I have to get ready, sir. Okay. I have to go to work. I have to go to work.
I'm sorry, I can't understand. You're a white man. How the fuck are you going to tell us what is and what isn't racist? You're really sitting here deflecting and telling us what you said isn't wrong. That person is still on the Nicki train, okay? Hassan, that was the most brutal clapback I've ever seen you make. I stuck it through woke 1. I'll stick it through woke 2. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Call me a fucking racist. Call me a fucking white supremacist. Call me transphobic. Call me Islamophobic. Call me anti-Semitic. I'm going to stand by the things I believe, okay? That's it. If you had started grifting in that moment, it could have been you in Provo, Utah. Oh, shit. Here is the original thread. Yeah. Look back with today's eyes on this conversation. No, the counter is not racist. People in my chat. By the way, this person goes, as a dunk. This tweet is literally about Bill Maher using the N-word with a hard R. Do you think that's the same? Hassan, I'm begging you to tweet that thread at that person. No, because I'm not a fucking petty bitch. Also, he's still powered by rainbet.com, so I don't really care. And secondly, it's all right. I don't care about fucking winning a dub and like humiliating someone and being petty like that. I care like that person, he's already dropped the whole stand shit. He's not a barb anymore. Who gives a fuck? Okay. And it's not even about being a barb. It's not even about like standing Nicki Minaj, or it's not about any of that shit. It's actually just about making sure that people are fighting for the right causes, making sure that people do not make enemies of those who are on their side, okay? That's why I'm very open about people who have in the past farmed me for hatred, attacked me all this time. If they actually come on board, if they actually say, hey, you know what? I'm going to let bygones be bygones. I was wrong, or whatever the fuck. I'm with you, okay? That's it. It hurts. It hurts far more. I mean, I love, like I've said, I love when my enemies hate me, right? Enemies on the right, they hate me all day, every day. That's awesome, okay? That's great. That's fantastic. I'm always on board with that. You know, great. I hate when it's someone who presents themselves as a liberal, or someone who presents themselves as like a progressive-minded person that comes in and tries to fucking undermine what I'm trying to do from that perspective, from a progressive perspective. I hate that shit. But it still will not shake my convictions, okay?
But he wasn't making a joke, is what I'm trying to tell you. It wasn't a joke.
White person, know your place, bitch. Get out the motherfucking face. Now later, kiss my ass.
Even some of the shit he says about black conservatives, like, I don't like them either, but it still rubs me the.
I like that many things have not changed, though. Like a bunch of fucking weirdo Nicki stans elevated some shit to random parts of black Twitter and now actually funny, cool, and chill. People think I'm racist. Man, fuck those people too, to be honest. If one fucking thing you see from a deranged person who tweets about a 38-year-old woman 24 hours a day is enough for you to write me off, then fuck you. There are people tweeting about how I'm their hyperfixation, and I'm in the process of being canceled, Lamau. Remember 2021 Twitter? A lot of these kids saw the anti-SJW memes and were like, that's my template of who I should be like. Please look at this person's name as they shame me. Hassan, you are dead. That was me defending you in that Twitter space. I still haven't recovered to this day. I wake up in hot sweats talking about Roman's revenge like I was still in that space. I commissioned myself a Purple Heart medal and had CMAC bestow it upon me for my participation in this war. Yeah, I remember that. Brave warrior, yeah. I don't think I've seen you get dug in and reply to as many dumb fucks in one night, Lamau. No, I used to do that way more frequently back in the day. I don't do that for this reason, because obviously replying to fucking dumbass reply guys only escalates the situation, only elevates it. Because for many people, they're like, ooh, this is my opportunity to get one on them, right? It's the same as like responding to every fucking gray name in the chat.
Black conservatives, like, I don't like.
Makes me so mad every time this shit happens. Obviously, my POV isn't gonna change, but it makes me so fucking sad when I see random kids like, yo, I used to love you. What the fuck happened to you?
Them either, but it still rubs me the wrong way.
So I watch this song, and I'm also a barb. And like, think about like what you do every day. You're saying you never made a mistake. Twitch is just mad racist in general. Like, I'm just saying Hassan has done a lot for like black rights. Obviously, he's made a mistake. He's a white person.
The one time someone is fucking out there trying to stake their neck out, stake their Kirk out, they're like, put that Kirk back in. Put it back in the turtle shell.
It's called New Age racism.
New Age racism. calling out Nicki Minaj's allegiances 4 years in the past to the most powerful white nationalist at the time is actually new age racism. Yeah, new age racism, like the old one is dead, by the way. Like there's a need for a new version. Like the old, classic style white supremacy went away at all.
It's like rebranded. It's like using slavery analogies. It's still offensive and it's still
like using slavery analogies.
Racist, regardless of the intention.
Hostweet has already abandoned me. They've left. They left at the first side of conflict, which is fine. I understand. Last night I ended the broadcast and I just decided to crack my knuckles and go the fuck in. Dive the fuck in. It's probably one of the worst things you can do. Engaging with Stan Twitter was, can you explain to me how you finally accomplished whitehood? Like you just have to call out white supremacy to black white supremacists and instantly join the in-group? No, dude, these people are just, everyone is just struggling, okay? They're just trying to figure out what they believe and what their place is in society. That's it. You can't take this stuff seriously, okay? That's all it is. That's the point. You understand? It's not that serious. It's not that serious. When someone on the internet calls you a white supremacist and you have your convictions and you have your belief system and you think white supremacy is morally repugnant, okay? And you actively do your very best to fight back against that kind of thing. And then like a shit ton of people are just saying that to you, as was the case for the entire fucking week that this stuff went on for. You have two options, and this is something that I've gone through so many times. You have either you take it sincerely and you're like, oh man, why did all these people betray me? So you're saying white supremacy is not that serious? No, you fucking idiot. I'm saying that if you're not a white supremacist, if you're anti-racist, people calling you a white supremacist is not that serious. You can just let it wash over you instead of making it your entire life's mission to turn around and prove that those people were right. Okay? Shut up. You know exactly what I meant and you want to be a bitch about it. Okay? Not a great idea. It was not a good idea. It was not a good idea. I mean, I was just replying to random people. Like, how the fuck did we get here from Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's balls? When I say Tucker Carlson would have been an advocate to make sure that Nicki Minaj can't even get on the bus, let alone to the back of the bus, I mean it. I stand by that sentiment a million times over. I was not joking. That was not a joke. None of that was a joke. I was 100% right on this take. It was not a joke. I read something on Twitter that actually really upset me. This is a black community member who's a fan. So after the entire night of just like blasting fucking random teenagers on the internet, defending and doubling down, when I read this, I realized, like, I'm sorry. I am. I'm sorry. I am. There's a lot of people that I truly love and truly care for and truly don't want to hurt the feelings of. No, I am apologizing. Not to the fucking psycho deranged pieces of shit, but I am apologizing to people who felt conflicted about this. I never want someone like this person in my community to ever feel like I am dehumanizing them. You guys are so fucking stupid, dude. I'm done with this chat. I'm done with this fucking community. I swear to God. Why do people backtrack like this, dude? So my attitude on a lot of this stuff is sometimes being like hyper rational about things like this is not the appropriate response at all. Like there's no reason to dig in if you have hurt people's feelings, even if you stand by your convictions. It's still, that Redditor is currently an Ethan Klein fan. Are you fucking kidding me? The person that was conflicted about my tweet is standing a dude with a 8-minute N-word with a hard R compilation? This is why I never apologize to them. No, it's because it's not that person. I'm not apologizing to that person because it's the same principle behind like the Sudan cancellation where they were like, Hassan said black people with a hard B, right? Like, I think I know who I am. I know what I represent. I know what my beliefs are. I know that there are other people out there who don't know that, and it doesn't fucking matter, right? Either you can be an asshole Or you could just be like, you know what? I'm sorry that, you know, this was a hurtful moment. And that's it. Like, that's it. There's no reason to just like continue fucking having this endless cycle, this endless back and forth. What I'm trying to say is sometimes it's okay to be irrational or to respond to people behaving in an irrational manner because this is a sensitive issue. Okay? That's it. You talked about Sudan as an idea or a thing in relation to Palestine, not as a genuine thing. Like, see, oh my fucking God, this guy's still doing it. No, dude, no, we've already moved on from that. Okay? There's been numerous instances where I have already covered Sudan. You're literally using an ongoing fucking conflict where people are being slaughtered as a talking point right now, dude. Fuck. Oh my fucking Lord. Stop. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the point is, what I always think to myself in heated moments of crisis or conflict, that's like oftentimes manufactured hysteria, that is a great opportunity for a lot of the different communities of enemies that I've cultivated that totally lean into it cynically, is we're going to look back at this like a couple years later down the line and we're going to laugh about it. Okay? As we do with the house, right? As we do with the house saga, as we do with the Hassan least the poor saga, as we do with all these other things, right? Like even a couple months after the fact, I think people look back at it and they laugh at it. Like in the very moment when the Sabra hummus thing was taking place, a lot of people were just like, oh my God, this is the peak of anti-Semitism. Like they got whipped into a frenzy, right? Or the Gucci shirt. That's another good one. Like it was so stupid. It was such a stupid thing to lean into. Okay. And the very people that actually cynically pushed it, non-fucking stop, are now actually actively doing an about face, and they're doing it not in the best ways possible. Obviously, they're doing it without actually recognizing their, own personal role in this censorship environment that they cultivated. But that's it. When you look back at this stuff a couple months later or a year later in the rear view mirror, you realize you just got to let some shit wash over you, you know? And you got to stay true to your convictions, and you got to keep pushing. If you have firm commitments to certain causes, if you have firm commitments, okay, you just have to let this shit wash over you. You can't get upset. You can't get mad. It doesn't matter, no matter how hard people yell at you and no matter how silly their perspective might be, right? It did actually kind of make me sad, though. They're always after you. Please know that you've got aunties out here who know this is all bad faith, and inshallah, you won't have to deal with this shit. Folks have been watching you. You know you're out praying for you. Yeah, but I also account for the fact that, like, I know that not everyone is going to know where I'm coming from, especially in like the clip culture that we live in now, right? They're not gonna know where the fuck I'm coming from. They just see a white guy. And if it's like presented cynically enough, if it's presented poorly enough, shittily enough, and they see a white guy doing it, they will lean into it. They will say, "Oh yeah, no, this guy is white supremacist." It's like I am so conflicted about this. But yeah, ultimately, your actions will speak louder than the words. Okay.
If you don't like me, that's fine, but watch your mouth.
Oh, you bitches, Rosa Parks. Get your ass up. This one is for the boys.
Bars victory. Yeah, well, we might have lost that battle, but we seemingly are winning the war, I think. And by that, I just mean I was right. I was right to call it out back then, and I saw something settling in, and it turns out it took 4 fucking years for it to be firmly established. But that's where we're at, okay? Bars will be white nationalists by association if they do not disassociate with Minaj. Probably. People keeping you with Kayagate PMO because parasocial bitches who don't even watch think they know everything. Yes. It'll keep happening. It'll keep happening. Bro, that was 4 years ago. Yeah. And also there were some iconic moments from that conversation, of course. But hey, the question I would have to someone from not from this community, but like someone who maybe developed an attitude about me being like a racist, you know, white supremacist or whatever 4 years ago in that. And then it's just like never really checked back in to see where I was at. Do you feel like my convictions have changed? Do you feel like my attitudes have changed? Do you feel like or am I still advocating for the things I'm advocating for? You know? Hilarious to think back then, no one would think that Tucker and Nicki would be found in the same place. Well, I did. Okay? There was someone who thought that Tucker Carlson and Nicki Minaj were, you know, in the same place. Me. And I got yelled at for it fucking endlessly. But like I said, two things that I always tell you whenever, because there's a lot of white people in this community, right? And people go like, oh, all these people are yelling at you. Like, you know, black people, you keep saying you're racist, you're white supremacist, all this shit. And it's like, oh, why do you know, like, what do you do in that situation? I'm like, who gives a fuck? Okay. What do I always tell you? You are not advocating against white supremacy because you want black people to think you're fucking cool. It's not transactional. You're doing it because white supremacy is morally repugnant. You're doing it because it's right. Okay? That's it. So you just got to remind yourself of if you're having a moment of crisis in your convictions, you know, you just have to remind yourself of that. My ex-situationship and ex-best friend are leftists, but they don't like you because you are a misogynist because of your past and believe you hold these convictions still, your old podcast and stuff, I guess. Yeah, who gives a fuck? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're right. Fuck it, who cares? Just, you know. Anyway, we got JD Vance, but Trump is live right now, so I'm going to tune into that.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is
President Trump is making an announcement with the Secretary of War and the Secretary of the Navy. It's about like the new ships that they're building. They're building the Golden Fleet.
This is generational in the change, not just in terms of applying American war power, increasing our ability to protect the seas. The U.S. Navy is the single biggest source of peace in the world of all of our forces because it gives us a global footprint. But it rebuilds American industrial capacity. The ability to make things again in our country has been critical to what the president's agenda has been all about, and this is a tangible reminder of it. And I know the country's grateful for it, and generations of Americans will be grateful for it. So thank you.
Thank you, Marco. By the way, I think I'd just like to point out that these ships are made of steel as opposed to aluminum. It's a big difference, as you know. Battleships, the great battleships, had 6- and 7-inch steel hulls. And these are going to be likewise made out of very powerful steel. Our steel industry is coming back very strongly, by the way. It's coming back at record numbers. And we're going to be using them for the steel, but as opposed to an aluminum side, which, in all fairness, is not the same. So, John, we're going with all steel, I understand. And that's going to be something that people are surprised. More expensive, but not even comparable in terms of the importance and the strength. Yeah, please.
What's your timetable for these first two ships, and do you see them as a counter to China?
We're going to start almost immediately, and we'll probably talking about 2.5 years.
And in terms of the mission, do you see it as a counter to China?
It's a counter to everybody. It's not China. We get along great with China. I have a great relationship with President Xi, and not China. It's just everybody. You don't know who comes along. But we just wanted peace through strength. Hopefully we never have to use them. But there will never be anything built like these. Think of it. Those battleships are incredible. These have 100 times the power. Think of that. I mean, and they were big and they were powerful. You know, I thought about taking some that are in dry dock and changing them. And then when I said that, you know, if we did, would be about, we could increase, if we doubled them, they'd be at like just a tiny fraction of what one of these was. This is the new technology, which is incredible. So we decided pretty early on not to do that. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, Julio Rosas with most peaceful.
Battleships with big guns that have been extended in modern navies in the 1980s. Ships are called aircraft carriers, cruisers, destroyers, not battleships.
You just said that you're going to start that same program.
Yeah, he's bringing battleships back, baby. We put the biggest guns. No more need for airplanes. Everyone knows airplanes are woke. We got to bring the big guns back. I mean, I do think that like big gun battleships are kind of cool. I will admit that. Okay. I do think that they're like they're technically cooler than, you know, having a fucking nuclear powered city roaming around the planet with a fuck ton of airplanes attached to it that just go and hit targets very far away. I think it's cooler if you're just like literally maneuvering the ship and you got to make sure the cannons line up old school style, you know? That's cool. Like that's objectively a cooler way to wage war than this new lame shit that we're doing.
Talking about with Venezuela?
Yes.
Well, you had a different kind of a president before me. They didn't mind being ripped off. They didn't mind being robbed.
We should bring back boarding like pirates. I agree. I think that's also cool. I think it's cooler to just like jump off from, you know, just like have a bunch of ropes tied up and you like jump into the other ship and you're using knives and weapons. Like you're using not even like small arms. You're using like, you know, swords and shields and axes and whatever you can find. And you're going, it's time. We board the ship, matey. And you know, and then like the most like complicated weapon you have is a blunderbuss, right? Oh, Epstein question.
Victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, you know, but I think it's terrible. Look, I don't like. I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along. Respect him.
Oh,
I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they're giving their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy, either friendly or not friendly. But they, you know, he was around. He was all over Palm Beach and other places. The head of Harvard was his best friend, Larry Summers, and Bill Clinton was a friend of his. But everybody was. I actually threw him out of Mar-a-Lago, and as a
I'm a white hat pedophile.
I threw him out.
I'm a white hat pedophile. Everyone knows. All right, when I was doing it, I was doing it for good.
Place in Florida, and everybody would come here. He'd come here. We actually threw him out. But no, I don't like the pictures of Bill Clinton being shown. I don't like the pictures of other people being shown. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it, but you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago, many years ago, and they're, you know, highly respected bankers and lawyers and others, and they'll end up, because of guys like Massey, who's a real lowlife, whose polls are down to about 9%, by the way, in the great state of Kentucky. If you look at Kentucky, Kentucky is such a great place, but I don't know, they've got a couple of people on there that are very strange in terms of leadership, but Massey's a loser, and he likes it, and that he works with the Democrats. He's just being used by the Democrats, because what this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has. Like, for instance, today we're building the biggest ships in the world, most powerful ships in the world, and they're asking me questions about Jeffrey Epstein. I thought that was finished. I believe they gave over 100,000 pages of documents, and there is tremendous backlash. It's an interesting question, because a lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin a reputation of somebody. So a lot of people are very angry that this continues. A lot of Republicans are angry.
This is the most, it's a big club and you ain't in it moment. No, a lot of people don't actually have photos with a prolific international pedophile sex trafficker who was potentially doing it all for blackmail of the elites at the behest of Mossad and CIA. So no, you're just talking about a very small group of people, Trump. Who the fuck? Oh, I hate when I accidentally slip and fall into a photo with international sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein 15 plus times. Shut the fuck up.
The problem is a lot of Democrats are being caught up in the web, like Larry Summers. Larry Summers was the head of Harvard. He's now been forced to resign from every board he's on.
You got duped,
He was thrown off the Harvard board. Now he was at Epstein's Island a lot. I wasn't. I never went there, by the way.
What are you talking about? Why would I be duped? I never said it was real. What the fuck are you talking about?
But instead of talking about the battleships, or instead of talking about most favored nations drugs, we're bringing down drug prices like at a level that has never even been thought of, by thousands think of it, by 1,000%, by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400% in some cases. A drug that sells for $10 in London is costing $130 in
He's
New
woke.
York.
He's woke now.
We're
He's
bringing
going to
it down
lower
to
pharmaceutical
$20,
prices.
and they're going to go
My
up to
goat.
20.
My
So they're
king.
going from 10 to 20, which is a doubling. It's a doubling. That's a lot, but it's a doubling. But we're going down to 20. So we're going down, if you can do your own math, but it's 2,000%, 3,000%. It's pretty amazing.
By the way, another fucking I called it moment for the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. If you recall, what did I say? The reason why I thought that like they will dangle Bill Clinton as red meat here, but then that might actually backfire on them is because of the principle of mutually assured destruction. MAD, right? But this time, mutually assured pedophile destruction. And basically, Bill Clinton's response straight up was, hey, man, I was there and I saw you there too, bitch. So let it all out. Let the facts do the talking. Statement by Angel Urena, spokesman for former President Bill Clinton. The Epstein Files Transparency Act imposed a clear legal duty on the U.S. Department of Justice to produce a full and complete record to the public demands and deserves. However, what the Department of Justice has released so far and the manner in which it did so makes one thing clear. Someone or something is being protected. We don't know whom, what, or why, but we do know this. We need no such protection. Accordingly, we call on President Trump to direct Attorney General Bondi to immediately release any remaining materials referring to, mentioning, or containing a photograph of Bill Clinton. This includes, without limitation, any records that may exist and are subject to disclosure under the Act, Public Law 11938, enacted November 19th, 2025, including grand jury transcripts, interview notes, photographs, and findings by the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, as referenced under oath to Congress by President Trump's first-term Attorney General. Refusal to do so will confirm the widespread suspicion the Department of Justice's actions to date are not about transparency, but about insinuation, using selective releases to imply wrongdoing about individuals who have already been repeatedly cleared by the very same Department of Justice over many years under presidents and attorneys general of both parties. Bubba's coming out. It's Bubba's revenge. Bubba said, there's photos of you sucking me off. Bubba said, hey, yo, you were in the cut, dick on mouth. Show the world how you sucked it. Return to the Bubba. Anyway, yeah, I was going to tell you about the CGI thing earlier. It was only released by DOJ because it was an attachment to a random email someone sent from the public. It's not from the DOJ. Nothing about this video makes sense and is unclear while it was included in the DOJ files. Yeah, it turns out it was actually just like a random document the context. The video comes from this email to the DOJ. Dear investigators, came across a perverted video of Epstein's suicide leaked by an anonymous source. I attached it, but if your email strips attachments, you can also download it from Google Drive here. Is this real? Bro said, is this real? To this, okay? To this. Like, this is Game Boy Color advanced level of graphics. Shit looks like bowling alley animations, brother. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you hit a strike, or no, you flub it. I guess this would be when you can't even get one, you know? And then this pops up at the bowling alley. Game Boy Color, not Game Boy Color Advanced. Man, shut up. Yeah, gutter ball animation pops up. This is artificial unintelligence? Yeah, it's from some fucking random YouTuber. This guy didn't do a deep investigation. Okay, he found a random YouTube video of a CGI hypothetical render of how Jeffrey Epstein did definitely kill himself. How does the DOJ explain that? The DOJ absolutely has no credibility to investigate, prosecute employees of the BOP in SDNY while at the same time an SDFL, Attorney General, blah, blah, blah. Fedbop.com, or alternatively, I'm also known as Q from theinvestigation.org, busting government pedophiles since 1987. Epstein was a friend of a friend, although never heard of him until after. What? Why is that even in the investigation? Like, why would that even be, like, was that passed around the prosecutors to laugh at this person? Like, why is that? Why was that even featured in the investigation at all? The separate, I assume, investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's death, you know? Like millions of people, I am certain, send a lot of random emails to, government emails that they find online or whatever. Records requests are wide-reaching. They received an email. It landed in their inbox. They had to document it, I guess. It's even funnier because they took it down, by the way. Yeah, but the OG is a 3D render produced by a YouTuber 5 years ago, complete hoax and red herring. To be clear, this isn't proof that the DOJ themselves produced or planted it. The most likely explanation is that someone within their dragnet of emails collected, they probably gained access to an inbox or digital conversation that included this video as attachment. But also, they're so stupid, I don't think they could entirely put it past them. Regardless of this video came into DOJ custody, this is absolutely not a real video. I don't think anybody thought it was a real... Who thought this was a real video? Was there... I mean, I guess there was some people who thought it was a real video, right? Like, there were some people in this chat, which is really funny. Like, come on, guys. No, it was very clearly shittily done CGI. It wasn't even good CGI.
Look what happened in Colorado where they would occupy apartment houses. And he didn't want to do anything about it because he was scared. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, please.
So in response to the United States taking sanctioned oil from Venezuela, Colombian President Gustavo Petro criticized the United States by saying, well, the Southwest is stolen land and that it should be returned to Latin America. I just wanted to know what your response to that is.
Well, he has to watch because, he's got drug factories. They make cocaine in Colombia. And he's no friend of the United States. He's very bad guy. And he's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia. We love the Colombian people. I love the Colombian people. They're great people, energetic, smart, great. But their new leader is a troublemaker. And he better watch it. He better close up those cocaine factories. They have at least 3 major cocaine factories. We know where they are. He better close them up fast, yeah. By the way, it's made and sold into the United States. Comes through Mexico.
Thank you, sir. You've named Governor Landry to be new special envoy to Greenland.
Yeah.
How do you? What do you see that role entailing? And is it still your intention that Greenland become part of the U.S.?
He viewed Louisiana, the Louisiana Purchase. He said, "I'm governor of Louisiana," and he said, "I would love." I didn't call him. He called me. He's very proactive. He's a great guy. He's a deal guy. He's a deal maker type guy. And we need it for national protection. We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark is...
Yeah, I saw the Canadian version of the 60 Minutes video that was censored in America, but because it was still released in Canada, but it's ass. I'm sure there's a better version of it than like one that was filmed on a television, on a Canadian's television with bisexual lighting in the background. You know what I mean?
Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to lead
Oh, he's back. He's back on the Greenland shit.
Him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland. Greenland's a big deal. Yeah.
On the talks that took place this past weekend, and could a trilateral discussion of sort be the next step for Ukrainian, U.S., and Russian delegations?
So the talks on Ukraine, Russia are going along. They lost, as you know, 27,000 soldiers last month, mostly soldiers, some people in Kiev, etc., but mostly soldiers. And the talks are going along. And I say that, there's tremendous hatred between these two leaders, between President Putin, President Zelensky, tremendous hatred. And I hope we can get it done. We are talking. Talks are going okay. But, I've solved 8 wars. And Thailand is starting to shape up. They started with Cambodia. They started up again. But I think, Marco, we have that in pretty good shape to have that stopped. So we stopped 8 wars. And I thought this would be in the middle of the pack. But maybe easy, but in the middle of the pack. But there's a lot of hatred between those two people. And when there's hatred, there's, But we stopped one war 38 years, one war 35 years, one war was going on for 32 years. And we stopped, think of it, we stopped a potential nuclear war between Pakistan and India. And the head of Pakistan, highly respected general. He's a field marshal. And also the Prime Minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 10 million lives, maybe more, by getting that war. 8 planes were shot down. That war was starting to rage. And he actually said the other day that President Trump saved 10 million lives, maybe more. So we solved all these wars. The only one I haven't solved yet is Russia, Ukraine.
Deadline with Russia and Ukraine, and have you spoken with Putin or Zelensky or plan to push the deal?
I'll do whatever I have to do. I mean, I'd like to see it stopped. Look, we don't lose any money on that war anymore. Biden gave $350 billion, and who knows what happened to it. We now sell missiles, planes, all of the best military equipment. We sell it to NATO. We got NATO to go from 2% GDP to 5%. Nobody believed that to this day. Nobody's going to write that, but nobody believed it. And they take that money and they pay it to the United States for weapons. So we sell weapons to NATO. We sell full price. We sell weapons to NATO, and NATO takes those weapons and probably distributes them, but gives a lot of them to Ukraine. So we don't lose any money like we did with Biden. He was spending money like a fool. He was a fool. What he did to our country is so horrible. But he gave it $350 billion between cash, gave a lot of cash, $350 between cash and weapons. You remember at the beginning of that whole thing, I gave them javelins. Javelins are the anti-tank busters. And President Obama at the time gave them sheets.
Blankets.
I gave them javelins. They gave them sheets. But the bottom line, it's time for, I think they're all tired of that war. Everyone's tired of that war. It's got to stop. Yeah, please.
The U.S. was in active pursuit of a sanctioned oil tanker yesterday. Are you able to share what became of that tanker? Was the U.S. able to seize it?
No, it's moving along, and we'll end up getting it. Yeah, we're actually pursuing it. Can you imagine? Because it came from the wrong location. It came out of Venezuela, and it was sanctioned. Yeah, please.
Ultimate goal in Venezuela to force Maduro from power.
Well, I think it probably would. I can't tell that. That's up to him, what he wants to do. I think it would be smart for him to do that. But again, we're going to find out. Look, Venezuela, a terrible thing.
It was not sanctioned, but who gives a fuck if it is even sanctioned? What do you mean? Like, what are we doing? We're just deciding that saying a Venezuelan tanker is sanctioned and then seizing it is literally just piracy with one additional step. You just said, nah, it's mine. It's technically no different than Donald Trump saying all of Venezuelan oil belongs to us. Venezuela stole this oil from us by having it, okay, as their natural reserves. Like, that's all this is. It's no different. It is just simply, we get to do it because I say so. Okay? I need you to understand that.
Insurance companies. So what I'm asking for in health care is very simple. Obamacare is a disaster. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act. Unaffordable as opposed to, it's unaffordable. They're going to have a tremendous increase in premiums, which is Obamacare, which is them, the Democrats' fault. They'll try and blame Republicans. It has nothing to do with us. It's the Democrats' fault. What I want to do is we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year that go to insurance companies.
Shouldn't the U.S. be allowed to
I
do
want
this,
that
though?
money
Fuck no.
to go to the people and let the people buy their own health care. And everybody
the
loves it.
DLC? Okay, you're
It's
a dickhead.
become our issue. Now, before I do that, I'll meet with the insurance companies, just as I met with the drug companies. As you know, we're meeting with 4 other drug companies, Johnson & Johnson. But they've all agreed. We're meeting with them this week. It's coming up. It'll be a similar meeting.
Why
They've
is
all
he
agreed.
spitting so much?
But nobody would have thought the drug companies were going to do what they did. Were they giving away free drugs? And they've been so great. Okay? And we have most favored nations. Nobody thought that was possible. I don't think any other president ever tried to get it because they never thought they could. But with respect to the insurance companies, I want to meet. There's essentially 14 of them, 10 big, but there's a total of 14 pretty much, pretty big. And I want to meet with them, and I want to say, I want you to cut your rates way down, way down. And maybe if they do that, we'll be able to not cut them out. We'll be able to continue to deal with them, which is probably a little easier process. I think the best process is pay the money directly to the people, let them buy their own health care. But I'm going to meet with them the first week back. I do it now, but they're trying to come up with a schedule. They want to meet badly, they've told me, but they want to come up with a schedule. I said, make it a good schedule. Your rates have to come way down. We're also going to meet with other insurance companies because under Biden, the insurance rates have gone through the roof. Auto insurance, home insurance. I mean, insurance companies are making far more than they're entitled to make. So we're going to be doing that. But just in the meantime,
That's right, baby. Price checks coming.
the first few days back in Washington.
Can you imagine if we used any of this like productive, any of this energy in a productive direction?
You're going to enjoy the battleship.
You know?
It's going to be beautiful. Thank you. And
Nope. Of course not.
Christmas if I don't speak to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Isn't this kind of big? I mean, if it fucking happens. Yeah. I have no confidence in this administration.
Damn, this guy's good.